Chapter 325. Jun Xiaoyao's hair danced in the wind, and his clothes fluttered. He stepped out of the fire tide like an immortal king. His aura was too powerful, far stronger than before he went into seclusion. Jun Xiaoyao was able to crush Kate Tian and the other divine fire realm burial earth creatures when he was in the heaven ascension realm. Now that his cultivation base had broken through to the perfection of the divine fire realm, his strength was naturally incomparable. Young master, when Song Yu and Song Shui saw Jun Xiaoyao, they first showed joy. Then, after sensing his aura, the joy on their faces turned into shock. Only a few days had passed, and Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation base had broken through from the perfection of the heaven ascension realm to the perfection of the divine fire realm. This simply refreshed their understanding of him. Although the burial earth creature's cultivation base was generally 1 or 2 levels higher than the immortal realm's creatures. However, this sort of advantage was accumulated over countless years. And Jun Xiaoyao, in just a few days, surpassed the burial earth creature's decades of cultivation time. How terrifying was this? The corners of the Tsong family head and the other's eyes twitched. Breaking through a major realm in a few days, even with the help of the Yin-Yang divine fruit, it was impossible to reach this level. It's as the patriarch said, this child's background is shocking, and his talent is monstrous. Fortunately, our Tsong family didn't rashly provoke him. The Tsong family head thought to himself. To be honest, he didn't quite understand why the Tsong family patriarch would make such a decision at first. But now, looking at Jun Xiaoyao, who walked out on divine fire, that aura even made the Tsong family head, a saint, feel suffocated. The black-winged demonic leopard stared at Jun Xiaoyao, its black beast eyes carrying a hint of shock and doubt. You dare to slander the young master? Because Jun Xiaoyao's current aura was too powerful, making them feel some fear. Didn't they say that the outside world's human race is only at the heaven ascension realm? The one-horned man also looked puzzled. Their 3 cultivations were all at the late stage of the divine flame realm. Before, they were higher than Jun Xiaoyao, but now they were far inferior. Isn't this human from the outside world way too handsome? The moment Sheiji caught sight of Jun Xiaoyao, she was stunned. Previously, she had heard that this human from the outside world was quite good-looking. Now, it seemed that not only was he not bad, even the most handsome fallen feather saint in her heart could not be compared to Jun Xiaoyao. Sheiji even felt that there was no living being in the eternal burial ground that could compare to Jun Xiaoyao in terms of looks. Wet. Sheiji bit her lips and could not help but moan. The flood was about to break the dike. It couldn't be helped. Jun Xiaoyao had this kind of charisma. Just his appearance alone was enough to make female living beings feel shy. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, had an indifferent look in his eyes. Insulting the fallen feather saint? Sorry, he is not qualified for me to deliberately insult him. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was extremely cold. How many people in the Huangtian mystic realm were qualified to be Jun Xiaoyao's opponent? Although the fallen feather saint was one of the 10 minor kings of the eternal burial ground, in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes, he was just so. Even his subordinates, Yu, Wang Chuan, and the others, were enough to crush the fallen feather saint. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao really did not have much interest in the fallen feather saint. If it did not provoke him, Jun Xiaoyao could not be bothered to find trouble with him. But now, since the fallen feather saint chose not to let him go, then Jun Xiaoyao did not have to be polite. Human from the outside world, you are too arrogant. In the eyes of the young master, you are just food, the black-winged demonic leopard said coldly. Jun Xiaoyao sighed softly. Why were there always so many blind ants blocking the way? It seems that I have to kill a genius of the 10 minor kings to show off my power, Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. His words were not heard by others. Otherwise, there would be another round of exclamations. There was no one else who could kill a genius of the 10 minor kings so easily. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and grabbed. Surging divine power poured out and condensed into a dazzling golden spear. It was the offensive divine ability of the divine elephant overpowering divine elephant, the heavenly god spear. The spear pierced through the air like a meteor, drawing a trail of flames and piercing towards the black-winged demonic leopard. The black-winged demonic leopard's expression suddenly changed. He roared, and black gas rolled around his body as if he was about to use some kind of divine ability. But before he could use it, there was a puff. The black-winged demonic leopard was pierced from head to toe. A corpse fell. What happened? The entire Baiwang city almost went silent at this moment. They did not even have time to react. When they came back to their senses, the black-winged demonic leopard was killed. This was one of the strongest followers of the fallen Feather Saint. He was much more powerful than Tion, but he was still killed by Jun Xiaoyao in one move. Let's go. The One-Horned Man and Sheiji were both trembling from the bottom of their hearts. They had kicked an iron plate today. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm as the wings of freedom spread out behind him. He took a step forward, flapped his wings, and flew directly in front of the One-Horned Man. The One-Horned Man roared, and the horn on his forehead flowed with a blood-red light. Jun Xiaoyao did not hesitate. He punched out and hit the horn accurately. With a crack, the entire horn, along with the One-Horned Man's head, exploded into pieces. Jun Xiaoyao took advantage of the situation and grabbed Sheiji's slender neck with one hand. Young master, please spare me. I'm willing to submit. Sheiji felt that her neck was about to be broken. She begged for mercy. With her beauty, she was rare even in the burial ground. Her slender waist and hot body could make any man go crazy. However, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes remained calm and unfazed. Just as Sheiji's neck was about to be broken, Jun Xiaoyao let go. Sheiji coughed dryly. At the same time, she was glad that Jun Xiaoyao was moved by her beauty. But Jun Xiaoyao's next words made Sheiji fall into a daze and shock. I'll give you 3 days to find the fallen Feather Saint. Make him kneel before me and let me kill him. As soon as Jun Xiaoyao finished speaking, he raised his hand. Vigorous spiritual energy condensed into a seal and blasted it into Sheiji's body. If Sheiji did not find the fallen Feather Saint within 3 days, she would definitely die. But that was not what shocked Sheiji. She was shocked that Jun Xiaoyao dared to provoke the fallen Feather Saint. According to her understanding, Jun Xiaoyao should have hidden himself and left the dark nether territory after killing a few followers. However, Jun Xiaoyao said that he wanted the Saint of the Fallen Feather to be killed. What kind of lunatic would say something like that? Get the hell out of here! Jun Xiaoyao stomped on the ground. Sheiji screamed and was sent flying. Her face was as pale as a sheet. She did not dare to stay and hurriedly fled. At this moment, all the burial ground living beings in Baiwang City had lost their voices. Jun Xiaoyao killing the black-winged demonic leopard and other living beings was not the most shocking thing. The most shocking thing was that Jun Xiaoyao dared to confront the fallen Feather Saint and the fallen Feather Tribe. That was amazing. Chapter 3:26. The status of the fallen winged race in the dark underworld was obvious. They were the local emperors of the dark underworld. The emperor of the fallen winged race was the ruler of the dark underworld, a high and mighty ruler. It could be said that almost no forces in the dark underworld dared to provoke the fallen winged race. However, that was exactly what Jun Xiaoyao did. Moreover, he was not a force, but a single person. He was not even a creature of the burial ground, but an outsider. Jun Xiaoyao's attitude made the creatures of the burial ground feel like an ant walking into the territory of a giant dragon and asking the giant dragon to accept its death. It was unbelievable. Either the human outsider's brain is damaged, or he's extremely confident. Confident? What confidence can he have? So what if he's the successor of an immortal force in the mystic realm? He's only as strong as the fallen winged race. But now, he's in the territory of the fallen winged race. The creatures of the burial ground around Baiwang City were discussing intensely. However, there was one thing they all agreed on. Jun Xiaoyao was definitely a top prodigy from the outside world, and he might have come to the burial ground to cause trouble. As for just how powerful Jun Xiaoyao was, no one knew for sure. Do you think he can defeat the fallen winged saint? I'm not sure, but he should be able to fight against the fallen winged saint. Jun Xiaoyao glanced at his surroundings. The creatures of the burial ground avoided his gaze subconsciously when they met his gaze. Before he knew it, Jun Xiaoyao seemed to have begun to establish his reputation. Could it be that after I become invincible among the younger generation of the Huangtian mystic realm, I'll also sweep through the burial ground? That would be too boring, Jun Xiaoyao suddenly thought. He did not like the feeling of being invincible anymore. It was so lonely to be invincible. He needed some real opponents to pique his interest. Other than helping Jiang Daoxiu find the Nine Wonders' immortal grass, Jun Xiaoyao came to the burial ground for another reason. He wanted to see the strength of the burial ground prodigies. Now, it seemed that he was still disappointed. There was no difference except that his cultivation level was slightly higher than that of the mystic realm prodigies. Fallen Feather Holy Sun, I hope you can bring me some fun. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. Young Master is really too handsome. Sister, Xiao Shui seems to like Young Master a little. What should I do? Below, Song Shui raised his little head and looked at Jun Xiaoyao, who was standing in the sky. His eyes were filled with splendor and stars. Jun Xiaoyao's appearance was top-notch, his background was mysterious, and he was so powerful. Moreover, he had given her 3 yin-yang divine fruits and saved her life. This was simply the template of an overbearing CEO and Prince Charming. Which girl wouldn't love him? You're not the only one who likes it. Song Yu bitterly laughed as a trace of splendor involuntarily surged in her eyes. Big sister, Little Snow doesn't mind sharing with you. Why don't the two of us serve Young Master together? Blue Snow's words were shocking. Sigh, this isn't our problem. It's simply impossible. Song Yu patted Song Shui's head. She wanted to see deeper than Song Shui. A top-notch prodigy like Jun Xiaoyao must have a shocking background and an extraordinary identity. How could the two of them have him? Moreover, they were burial earth creatures. It was even more impossible for Jun Xiaoyao to take a fancy to them. From the beginning to the end, they were just passers-by. Hearing Song Yu's sigh, Blue Snow was also a little disappointed. Compared to them, the Tsang family head and the others were more worried about what to do if the fallen winged race attacked. Tsang family head, your choice is very wise. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were deep as he looked at the Tsang family head. The Tsang family head's heart skipped a beat. He felt as if he had been seen through by this human youth in front of him. This kid has long predicted that our Tsang family might capture him and hand him over to the fallen winged race. However, he still has no scruples. He is indeed confident. The Tsang family head thought to himself. Only now did he realize how wise the patriarch's choice was. As for Jun Xiaoyao, he had indeed predicted that the Tsang family might attack him out of fear of the fallen winged race. If such a thing really happened, Jun Xiaoyao naturally wouldn't be soft-hearted. However, to Jun Xiaoyao's surprise, the Tsang family actually held back and didn't attack him. Seems like there are also smart people in the Tsang family. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. The Tsang family head's face was a little awkward. After all, their previous thoughts had been seen through by Jun Xiaoyao. However, the Tsang family head still advised, young friend, you have to think carefully. You are facing the fallen winged race. The force behind you may be very strong, but this is the burial ground. The Tsang family head's meaning was, no matter how strong the force behind Jun Xiaoyao was, the emperor was far away and they couldn't reach the eternal burial ground. You don't have to worry about this. Anyway, the Tsang family won't be implicated. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand. Young friend, what are you saying? The Tsang family head smiled awkwardly. Then, Jun Xiaoyao returned to his residence and waited for the fallen winged saint to arrive. On the other hand, Sheiji, who had fled in a panic, had also returned to the fallen winged race's residence. The fallen winged race's residence was located in the center of the dark nether region. Their influence spread across the entire dark nether region. At this moment, there was a mountain range filled with black fog in the fallen winged race's residence. In the mountain range, a figure sat cross-legged on an endless pile of bones, using the death aura and resentful spirits as nourishment for his cultivation. It was a handsome young man with pale skin. He wore a black feather robe and had a pair of gray wings on his back. He exuded a death aura. This young man was the strongest prodigy of the fallen winged race, and one of the 10 minor kings, the fallen winged saint. The 10 kings feast is about to begin. I must obtain the Yin divine fruit and turn the death aura into vitality. Azura Demon Kingdom's 9th princess Longhuan, I must conquer you. The fallen winged saint's eyes were filled with an aggressive desire to possess. The Azura Demon Kingdom was a top force in the burial ground that was no weaker than the fallen winged race. It was located in the Azura region. The 9th princess Longhuan was the strongest prodigy of the Azura Demon Kingdom. She was also one of the most beautiful women in the entire eternal burial ground. Not only that, but her strength was also extremely terrifying. She was ranked second among the 10 minor kings, second only to the one from the Hall of Pluto, who was an ancient, incomplete overlord body that had crawled out of the abyss. When he thought of the ancient, incomplete overlord body, a rare trace of fear appeared in the fallen winged saint's eyes. That ancient, incomplete overlord body was so strong that it was abnormal. It was rumored that it was comparable to the top physique of the human race, the sacred body of the ancients, the fallen winged saint murmured. The overlord body of the heavens and the sacred body of the ancients had been rivals since ancient times. There were always people who wanted to compete with them. Although the overlord body of the heavens from the Hall of Pluto was incomplete, its strength was still unbelievably strong. It firmly occupied the first place among the 10 minor kings. The fallen winged saint naturally did not want to challenge the ancient overlord body. He only wanted to catch up with the 9th princess Longhuan. Just as the fallen winged saint was thinking, a panicked figure swept over from afar. It was Sheiji, who was fleeing. Lord, this is bad. Sheiji's face was pale. She trembled as if she had seen something terrifying. Her eyes were still filled with panic. Why did you come back alone? Where are the black-winged demonic leopard and the others? And where is that ignorant human from the outside world? The fallen winged saint frowned slightly. They're all dead. And the human from the outside world? Sheiji's tone was hesitant. What did he do? The fallen winged saint raised his eyebrows. He did not expect that the other 2 followers would die. He wants you to kneel in front of him and allow yourself to be killed. Sheiji trembled as she said fearfully. As soon as she finished speaking, the fallen winged saint's aura exploded. He spread his wings and set off a monstrous storm. That human is courting death, the fallen winged saint said coldly. Chapter 3:27. The fallen feather saint was the strongest prodigy of the fallen feather tribe, one of the 10 minor kings, and the strongest among the younger generation in the Dark Nether territory. The fallen feather tribe behind him was the ruler of the Dark Nether territory. It could be said that since the fallen feather saint was born, he had always been superior. Everything went smoothly, and no one dared to disobey him. But now, there was an ignorant human from the outside world who kept provoking him again and again. Now, he was even asking him to kneel down and accept his death. How could the fallen feather saint remain calm? Do the creatures from the outside world like to court death so much? The fallen feather saint's eyes were gloomy. Master, of course you're invincible among the younger generation. It's easy for you to kill a human from the outside world. Sheiji flattered with a pale face. She actually wanted the fallen feather saint to leave as soon as possible. Otherwise, she would have lost her life after 3 days. Initially, I only wanted to kill the human as food. But now, I've decided that while he's still alive, I'm going to eat his flesh bite by bite and drink his blood. Such cruel words were very natural coming from the fallen feather saint's mouth. Obviously, he had done this more than once. Master, are we leaving? Sheiji asked. Of course. By the way, go and get Shuel Ling and Tian Yu elders, the fallen feather saint said. Although he was eccentric and violent, he was not stupid. He was afraid that if the Tsang family suddenly attacked and helped the human escape, all his efforts would be in vain. Sheiji was even more shocked when she heard this. Shuel Ling and Tian Yu elders were saints of the fallen feather tribe. They actually needed 2 saints to deal with a mere divine fire realm human from the outside world. It was clear that he was not giving Jun Xiaoyao any chance of survival. Now, The human from the outside world can't escape. Sheiji sighed in her heart. To be honest, she felt a little disappointed. After all, it would be a pity for such a handsome face to die. Just as the fallen feather saint and the others were about to leave. The entire dark nether territory was in turmoil because of this storm. The originally inconspicuous Baiwang city seemed to have become the center of the entire dark nether territory. Many creatures in the burial ground heard the news and headed to Baiwang city. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It would be a pity to miss it. At the same time, the Iron Bone tribe, Blue Ghoul tribe, and the Gongming family could not hold back. Jun Xiaoyao had killed all of their prodigies in the Yin-Yang Soul Pond. In terms of hatred for Jun Xiaoyao, they were no less than the fallen Feather Saint. I want to see him die, Feather Saint's death, Feather Saint. In Ironbone Ridge, where the Ironbone clan resided, an aura rose as a group of Ironbone clan cultivators rose into the air. There were also many experts from the Blue Ghoul race who moved. The reason why they had dispatched so many powerhouses was obviously not purely to watch the show. Would the fallen Feather Saint's son vent his anger on the Tsang family? Feather, 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 feather saint. Feather, feather tribe. Feather, feather. The Gongming family had the same idea. The Gongming family also sent out most of their experts. A middle-aged man said coldly, "The Tsang family has been fighting with us for a long time. It's time for them to be destroyed. This is the best chance." The three great forces set off together and rushed to Baiwang City. For a time, the Dark Nether Realm was in turmoil. Jun Xiaoyao, who was in the center of the storm, was waiting for the fallen Feather Saint in the Tsang family. He did not care about the storm in the outside world. Everyone in the Tsang family was worried. But under the management of the Tsang family patriarch and the Tsang family patriarch, things were not too chaotic. The Tsang family patriarch felt that Jun Xiaoyao's background was absolutely terrifying. Even the fallen Feather tribe was not qualified to provoke him. Jun Xiaoyao sat with his legs crossed in a hall, looking relaxed and carefree. It's a pity that there's no hot spring. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head. This was his favorite way to relax. Jun Xiaoyao was probably the only person who would want to soak in a hot spring when the fallen Feather tribe was about to attack. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. "Young master." It was Tsang Yu and Tsang Shui. "Come in," Jun Xiaoyao said. Tsang Yu and Tsang Shui walked in. Jun Xiaoyao looked up and his eyes flashed. These two sisters had obviously dressed up. Their fair, porcelain-like skin was smeared with light red makeup, which made the two sisters look rather delicate and charming. They had also changed into clothes. The gauze was slightly transparent, and one could vaguely see their snow-white and flawless skin. "Young master, I'm sorry," Tsang Shui said first. "Oh, why?" Jun Xiaoyao asked. "Young master, you've helped us so much, but our Tsang family once plotted against you," Tsang Shuyu said apologetically. She was referring to the Tsang family's attempt to capture Jun Xiaoyao and hand him over to the fallen Feather Saint. "Oh, it didn't happen, did it?" Jun Xiaoyao didn't care at all. "Then it's our Tsang family that has let you down," Tsang Yu said. The two of them stepped forward and approached Jun Xiaoyao. Their eyes were watery, and there was a trace of shyness and ambiguity. "Young master, in order to apologize, we sisters can do anything," Tsang Yu said. As a man, he should understand. There was no need to explain anything. And this pair of sisters were indeed very attractive. Especially at this moment, they looked like they were ready to be picked. That's right, they were ready to be picked. But Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were still as calm as water. "You are my friends," Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. These words were already very polite and tactful. Strictly speaking, the two sisters didn't even have the qualifications to be Jun Xiaoyao's friends. They were just strangers who had met by chance. Tsang Yu bit her lips, feeling a little uncomfortable. Although she had expected it, when Jun Xiaoyao really rejected her, she still felt sad. Tsang Yu couldn't help it, and tears rolled in her eyes. After all, in her heart, Jun Xiaoyao was perfect to the extreme. Once she met Xiaoyao, she would lose her life. "Young master, we sisters understand. But, can you tell us your name?" Tsang Yu asked weakly. Until now, they still didn't know Jun Xiaoyao's name. "My surname is Jun," "And my name is Xiaoyao," Jun Xiaoyao said. "Young Master Jun, you really live up to your name," the two sisters murmured. Jun Xiaoyao's divine aura drifted about, making him look like a deity that had been banished. He did indeed look like a legendary deity that was free and unfettered. Then, Sangyu seemed to have thought of something, and her beautiful eyes suddenly widened, revealing a trace of extreme surprise. "Young Master Jun, may I ask, are you from that Jun family?" Songyu's words made Jun Xiaoyao raise his eyebrows. Was the Jun family so famous in the Eternal Burial Ground? If you're referring to the Jun family of the ancients, then yes. Jun Xiaoyao said casually. "It's true." Songyu and Songyu both gasped. "Why are you two like this?" Jun Xiaoyao frowned, somewhat puzzled. Although the Jun family was famous in the immortal domain in the Eternal Burial Ground, it shouldn't be that famous, right? Songyu seems to remember that more than 10 years ago, there was a terrifying existence who forcefully broke into the Eternal Burial Ground and killed several domain lords of the Imperial Burial Ground. In the end, he even went deep into the legendary burial ground. I have heard some secret news, and that terrifying existence seems to be surnamed Jun. Chapter 328. What? There's such a thing? Hearing Songyu's words, Jun Xiaoyao was a little surprised. He didn't expect to hear such a secret from its Song sisters. "Can you elaborate?" Jun Xiaoyao's interest was piqued. "Actually, we're not too sure about what happened back then. After all, that level was too high. We only heard about it from hearsay. But what we can be sure of is that there was indeed an unparalleled powerhouse who broke into the burial ground. The other emperors wanted to stop him. In the end, a great battle broke out, and the 10 regions of the burial ground trembled. Speaking of this, Songyu still had lingering fear, although it was impossible for them to come into contact with that level of battle back then. However, the entire Eternal Burial Ground trembled because of that great battle. All the living beings in the burial ground could personally experience it. I didn't expect my Jun family to do such a thing. But why did the Jun family break into the burial ground? Jun Xiaoyao was still puzzled. I'm not too sure either. I only know that at that time, the emperors in the sky roared angrily, telling the Jun family not to go overboard and meddle in other people's business. Songyu said, "Meddle in other people's business?" Jun Xiaoyao muttered. Then he continued to ask, "You said that the unparalleled powerhouse of the Jun family entered the burial ground. Where's that place?" Songyu sorted out her thoughts and replied, "Young Master Jun, you may not know, but the true origin of the Eternal Burial Ground is the burial ground. That is also the most ancient place. The 10 regions of the burial ground are just 10 regions that have been developed with the burial ground as the center." Hearing this, Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. What puzzled him was that he had never heard of this when he was in the Jun family. Logically speaking, the Jun family breaking into the burial ground and entering the depths of the burial ground should be a big deal. It seems that there's a big secret behind this, Jun Xiaoyao thought. He came to the Eternal Burial Ground to look for the 9 Wonders Reincarnation Immortal Grass. Now, it seemed that there was one more thing to investigate. Then, Jun Xiaoyao thought that if he couldn't find the 9 Wonders Reincarnation Immortal Grass in the 10 regions, then would it appear in the ancient burial ground? Jun Xiaoyao felt that it was possible. Is there a way to enter Burial Realm? Jun Xiaoyao asked. It is extremely difficult. Burial Realm is a restricted land of my eternal burial earth. Moreover, extremely dangerous. Under normal circumstances, not even us burial earth creatures are willing to approach it. However, Songyu said hesitantly. But what? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. However, the Feast of the 10 Kings is about to begin. If young Master Jun can come into contact with geniuses of that level, maybe you can think of a way to see if you have a chance to enter the burial world, said Songyu. Their Song family wasn't considered a top force in the eternal burial ground. They couldn't be compared to the fallen winged race and other forces. If one didn't stand at that height, they naturally wouldn't be able to come into contact with the secrets of Burial Realm. However, a force at the level of the fallen winged race could do so. Feast of the 10 Kings, I understand. Jun Xiaoyao nodded. Previously, He was still considering what to do after leaving the Song family. Now, he had a direction. Participate in the Feast of the 10 Kings. Investigate the news of the 9 Wonders, reincarnation, immortal grass, and also the secrets of Burial Realm. Next, Jun Xiaoyao talked to the Song sisters about Burial Earth again. In the end, the 2 sisters left reluctantly. Jun Xiaoyao didn't feel guilty. He didn't have lust in his brain, nor did he flirt with women whenever he saw one. It was because his charm was too great. There was no other way. It was impossible to stop emitting charm, right? This kind of charm and temperament couldn't be concealed at all. After dealing with the fallen winged saint, I can leave the dark nether realm. Jun Xiaoyao thought. As for the threat of the fallen winged race, Jun Xiaoyao didn't care at all. If the fallen winged race wasn't afraid of being exterminated, they could attack Jun Xiaoyao. Even the Song family had smart people. Jun Xiaoyao didn't believe that the entire fallen winged race was full of idiots. While waiting like this, 3 days passed by in the blink of an eye. On the 3rd day, the entire Baiwang city was already crowded. There were 3 layers of people inside and outside, and it was so crowded that not even a drop of water could trickle through. It could be said that Baiwang city had never been so lively. The main character hadn't arrived yet, but there were 3 uninvited guests outside the Song family's residence. They were the Iron Bone race, the Blue Ghoul race, and the Gongming family. The Song family head, the Song sisters, and the others also walked out. What's the meaning of this? The Song family head glanced at the 3 major forces and narrowed his eyes slightly. If they were just here to watch the show, the 3 major forces didn't have to come out in full force. At a glance, there were at least 2 or 3 saints from each side. The Song family head even thought that there were Saint King level experts secretly watching and didn't show up. Although the Song family's patriarch didn't show up, he was ready and ready. Haha, nothing. I just want to know why the Song family is so stupid to offend the fallen winged race for an outsider. The Gongming family head sneered. In their eyes, the Song family had lost their minds to make such a stupid choice. What does it have to do with you? The Song family head said coldly. I just want to see if the Song family can survive today, the Iron Bone race expert said. That's right. The fallen winged saint doesn't have a good temper. You're standing on the same side as that human outside. Just wait to be annihilated. The Blue Ghoul race's patriarch laughed sinisterly. They came here to wait for the Song family to be annihilated so that they could divide the profits. Wishful thinking. The Song family head snorted coldly, his expression ugly. Song Yu and Song Shui were also very angry. However, when they thought of Jun Xiaoyao's terrifying background, their hearts calmed down a little. Jun Xiaoyao was definitely not an existence that the fallen winged saint could provoke. Time passed by as he waited. At a certain moment, the crowd suddenly felt an extremely ruthless killing intent coming from afar. The main character is here. The entire Baiwang city was in an uproar because of this. In the distant sky, a few figures appeared. The leader was a young man dressed in a black feather robe with a pair of gray wings growing on his back. As he flapped his wings, the void shook, and a monstrous death qi filled the air. Sheiji was beside him and had also followed along. At the same time, 2 elders from the fallen winged race, Shui Ling and Tian Yu, arrived at the same time. The fallen winged saint is here. Not only that, but the 2 saints of the fallen winged race have also appeared. Many burial ground beings in Baiwang City were in an uproar. When the Song family head saw this scene, his face completely darkened. If only the fallen winged saint had come, there might still be a chance. But now, 2 saints of the fallen winged race had followed along. They were probably here to suppress the Song family. I hope the patriarch's choice is correct. The Song family head prayed in his heart. The fallen winged saint arrived at Baiwang City. A pair of gray eyes filled with death qi looked toward the Song family's residence. That human outside? I'm here. Didn't you say that you would kill me without a fight? The fallen winged saint's voice was filled with killing intent. That's right. You've come obediently to die, which saves me a lot of trouble. A white-robed figure flew out from one of the Song family's halls. He stepped into the air and stood opposite the fallen winged saint. Jun Xiaoyao and the fallen winged saint were officially dueling. Leisurely literature, let the soul travel. =. Chapter 329. One of them was the son of God of the June family, who was invincible in the Huangtian mystic realm. The other was one of the 10 minor kings of the eternal burial ground, the strongest genius of the fallen feather tribe. At this moment, the two of them were confronting each other. Their murderous intent surged between heaven and earth, causing all the creatures in the burial ground in Baiwang City to feel a chill. I didn't expect that the aura of the human from the outside world to be so strong. Yeah, at first I thought that the human from the outside world might not be able to withstand a single blow from the fallen feather saint. Now, it seems that there is still some uncertainty. Although Jun Xiaoyao did not deliberately release his aura, his innate invincible aura still made many creatures tremble in fear. This was because they did not know Jun Xiaoyao's identity and status in the outer mystic realm. Otherwise, they should be worried about the fallen feather saint, not Jun Xiaoyao. The fallen feather saint's gaze was fixed on Jun Xiaoyao, and there was a hint of surprise in his eyes. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao gave him a strong sense of danger. The fallen feather saint had never experienced this feeling before. However, the fallen feather saint was still not afraid. Not only was he confident in himself, but more importantly, he had brought Shuel Ling and Tianyu with him this time. No matter how well this human from the outside world hid, he could not possibly defeat a saint, right? Thinking of this, the fallen feather saint calmed down. Jun Xiaoyao stood in the air and glanced at the saint of the fallen feather holy sun. His cultivation was at the lesser completion of the divine fire realm. Jun Xiaoyao did not need to worry about him before his breakthrough, let alone now. It was too easy for him to deal with the fallen feather saint. His gaze shifted to Sheiji. Not bad. You have brought your master here. Your mission is considered complete, Jun Xiaoyao said. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's cold eyes, Sheiji's heart skipped a beat. She sensed that something was wrong. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and snapped his fingers. There was a bang. Sheiji's delicate body exploded, and broken limbs flew all over the sky. There were even many filthy things that splashed onto the fallen feather saint. This scene was beyond everyone's expectations. The fallen feather saint's entire body was stunned for a moment, after which a dense and ruthless anger shot out from his eyes. Jun Xiaoyao had actually killed his follower right in front of him. This was no longer a provocation, but a complete humiliation. You're courting death. Without wasting any time, the fallen feather holy sun made his move. As he raised his hand, the black death chi swirled around and turned into a pitch-black seal that directly suppressed Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao stood with his hands behind his back and calmly watched the fallen feather saint's attack. The surrounding spectators were extremely puzzled. Something shocking happened. That pitch-black seal was annihilated right away when it came within 100 feet of Jun Xiaoyao, completely disappearing from sight. What's going on? The fallen feather saint's son was stunned. Not only him, but the expressions of the burial earth creatures around Baiwang City also froze. They couldn't help but rub their eyes, thinking that they were seeing things. That ability again. Song Yu's beautiful eyes flashed. This was not the first time Jun Xiaoyao had used dermic power immunity. This kind of ability was simply unimaginable. After all, it was too overpowered to be immune to all dermic power attacks. Ordinary people simply couldn't think of this ability. What did you do? The fallen feather saint's son's eyes flashed with surprise. He made his move again. Soul crying claw. The fallen feather saint's son stretched out his hand. Dense death chi rolled and turned into a pitch-black giant claw. It seemed to be able to tear the void apart. However, this claw was also annihilated in the void. The fallen feather saint's son's mind was a little dazed. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. As his cultivation level increased, his dermic power immunity ability also increased. Even the 6 paths of reincarnation fist, which was supported by 6 different powers, couldn't break the dermic power immunity with one punch. How could the fallen feather saint's son break it with just 2 moves? I don't believe it. The fallen Feather Saint Sun was not stupid and immediately reacted. Since dermic power was ineffective, it couldn't be that physical attacks were ineffective as well. The fallen Feather Saint Sun flapped the wings on his back. His body flashed like an arrow and instantly appeared in front of Jun Xiaoyao. He clenched his fist and punched toward Jun Xiaoyao's head. Although the fallen feather race was not known for their physical bodies, their physical bodies were extremely powerful. Moreover, living beings in the burial ground were buried underground all year round. Their physical bodies were generally stronger than those in the celestial realm. Thus, the fallen Feather Saint Sun was very confident in his physical strength. However, he saw a mocking smirk at the corner of Jun Xiaoyao's mouth. Since you want to die, then I won't be polite. Jun Xiaoyao also threw out a simple punch. Bang! The void seemed to explode, and blood qi erupted. It was so powerful that it felt like a true dragon had been born. The fallen Feather Saint Sun's expression changed drastically. However, it was impossible for him to withdraw even if he wanted to. Boom! With one punch, the fallen Feather Saint Sun's entire right arm shattered inch by inch. The fallen Feather Saint Sun spat out blood and was sent flying. It was a complete crushing defeat. All the burial ground beings in Baiwang City were stunned. Their bodies stiffened, and they stood rooted to the ground. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, who would have dared to believe it? The fallen Feather Saint Sun, one of the 10 minor kings of burial ground, was beaten so badly with one punch. What a terrifying blood qi. That human youth is like a true dragon reincarnated. He's too powerful. Not only does he have a strange technique to be immune to dermic power attacks, but his physical body is also so powerful. This young man is definitely a top prodigy in the celestial realm. The burial ground beings who were watching the battle were about to explode. They had not expected to see this scene at all. The two fallen feather saints, Xue Ling and Tian Yu, were also shocked. Damn it, I don't believe it. The fallen feather saint's son's eyes were bloodshot. It was almost the eve of the 10 Kings feast. If he was defeated by a human from the outside world, how could he still have the face to attend the 10 Kings feast? Death Chi erupted from the fallen feather saint's son's body. Death Chi swirled around him and rose into the air, forming a majestic black sphere. Death Dark Sun. The fallen feather saint's son used his ultimate move. This move gathered almost all of the fallen feather saint's son's strength, and its power was terrifying. Black ripples shook the void, causing the surrounding spectators to tremble in fear. This move was enough to kill any ordinary divine fire realm being. Go! The fallen feather saint's son roared angrily, and the Death Dark Sun shot toward Jun Xiaoyao. Its power was monstrous, as if it wanted to destroy the world. The fallen feather saint's son stared at Jun Xiaoyao, and the Death Dark Sun crushed toward Jun Xiaoyao. The fallen feather saint's son breathed a sigh of relief. The Death Dark Sun did not disappear, but its power was greatly weakened. As expected, you're not invincible. The fallen feather saint's son looked up to the sky and laughed. His entire body relaxed. At least Jun Xiaoyao's strange dermic power immunity was not completely invincible. Otherwise, there would be no fight at all. Is that enough to make you this happy? Jun Xiaoyao glanced at the saint with a pitiful look. With a raise of his hand, he used the god-devouring demonic technique, and a terrifying black hole vortex appeared. The weakened Death Dark Sun was easily swallowed by the god-devouring demonic technique. Then Jun Xiaoyao's chest lit up, and a light of calamity blasted toward the fallen feather saint's son. The fallen feather saint's son hurriedly blocked, the gray wings on his back blocking in front of him. With a loud bang, the fallen feather saint's son was blasted back again. Jun Xiaoyao stepped into the air, chasing after him like a cicada, and punched down again. Not good. When the two fallen feather saints saw this, their expressions changed drastically. This outside human actually dared to kill the fallen feather saint's son in front of everyone. Leisurely literature, let the soul travel. Chapter 330. From the very beginning, the fallen feather saint had arrived in Baiwang City. No one would have expected such a situation. In the minds of these burial earth creatures, the most likely scenario was for the fallen feather saint to crush Jun Xiaoyao. At the very least, they could maintain their advantage. After all, the prestige of the 10 minor kings was deeply engraved in the minds of every burial earth creature. The 10 minor kings represented invincible talent and unparalleled strength. But now, reality slapped the burial earth creatures hard in the face. It turned out that the so-called invincible talent was only relative. The 10 minor kings were nothing. It was only because they had not met someone more powerful. But now, the person who could crush the 10 minor kings had appeared. Jun Xiaoyao's fist smashed toward the fallen feather saint at lightning speed. The fallen feather saint was scared out of his wits. He screamed, "Human, you really dare to kill me? Fool!" Jun Xiaoyao did not want to waste time talking, and he did not stop what he was doing. With a loud bang, Jun Xiaoyao's fist radiance, which carried 10 billion kilograms of divine power, smashed toward the fallen feather saint. Needless to say, the fallen feather saint's son's body was smashed into pieces, and his body directly collapsed. The fallen feather saint's head flew out, and his expression was one of extreme fear. He swore that even the ancient overlord body of the Nether King Palace, who was ranked first among the 10 minor kings, did not give him such a sense of despair. The fallen feather saint felt that he was not facing someone of the same age, but a reincarnated emperor. As Jun Xiaoyao punched, he activated the primordial spirit power in his mind. A divine chain of order flew out and condensed into a golden dagger, piercing toward the fallen feather saint's mind. The primitive emperor Dao sword directly destroyed the divine palace in the fallen feather saint's mind, along with his primordial spirit. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. Even the two fallen feather saints, Ling and Tianyu, did not have time to save him. This was because the prestige of the fallen feather tribe was deeply ingrained in their minds. No creature dared to kill a member of the fallen feather tribe in the dark nether realm, let alone the fallen feather saint. This was almost an iron law. But now, Jun Xiaoyao's appearance had broken this rule. So what if he was the fallen feather saint's son? If he wanted to kill him, he would still be killed. "You little rascal, how dare you?" Ling and Tianyu, the two fallen feather saints, felt their heads buzzing. Anger surged through their organs. The strongest genius of the fallen winged race had been killed in just 2 or 3 moves. Furthermore, it had been done right in front of them. The surrounding creatures of Baiwang City all widened their eyes and mouths, their faces filled with shock. "Oh my God, he actually killed the fallen feather holy son. Is he crazy? Does he want to die?" In their opinion, even if Jun Xiaoyao had the ability to kill the fallen feather holy son, he shouldn't have killed him. Leave some leeway for everything so that we can meet again in the future. However, what they didn't know was that Jun Xiaoyao's personality was that of a self-centered person who did as he pleased. If he wanted to kill them, he would. There was not the slightest bit of ambiguity. The master of the Tsang family and the others felt their scalps go numb when they saw the fallen feather holy son die. Jun Xiaoyao's actions had undoubtedly made the fallen feather tribe his enemy. Even the Tsang family might become the target of the fallen feather tribe's anger. The Tsang sisters didn't show any fear on their faces. No matter what Jun Xiaoyao did, they would support him. "Little rascal, die." Saint Ling and Saint Tianyu both attacked. They didn't care about bullying the weak or disregarding their status. They had to kill Jun Xiaoyao. Otherwise, the fallen feather holy son would have died in vain, and the fallen feather tribe's prestige would plummet. Seeing this scene, all the living beings present shook their heads slightly. The outcome was already decided. Since the two saints had disregarded their status and attacked, what else was there to say? Was there any other outcome other than death? "Master!" Song Yu and Song Shui shouted anxiously. The master of the Tsang family gritted his teeth and attacked. Boom! In a flash, the master of the Tsang family entered the battle and stood in front of Jun Xiaoyao. Is the Tsang family rebelling? Saint Ling and Saint Tianyu's eyes were extremely cold. The master of the Tsang family gritted his teeth. The reason why he made his move was because the sisters of the Tsang family had told him about Jun Xiaoyao's background. He came from the Jun family of the Primordial era. The master of the Tsang family was a saint after all, so he naturally knew what the Jun family meant. More than 10 years ago, the war that affected the entire eternal burial ground and even the burial realm was caused by the Jun family. Even the fallen feather tribe couldn't compare to such a terrifying force. If the Tsang family could make friends with them, it would be immensely beneficial for the Tsang family. This was why the master of the Tsang family dared to attack. He was taking a gamble. Oh, seeing the master of the Tsang family attack, Jun Xiaoyao was surprised. It seemed that the Tsang family wasn't stupid. Although he didn't need the Tsang family to attack, he was quite satisfied with what they were doing. It seems that the Tsang family has lived for too long and wants to destroy themselves. Saint Xueling's eyes shot out a bloody light. Lord, let us help you destroy the Tsang family. The master of the Gongming family stepped forward with a sinister smile on his face. Us too. The Iron Bone tribe and Blue Ghoul tribe experts also stood out. You, the master of the Tsang family's face turned green. These three forces obviously wanted to hit the Tsang family when they were down and divide them up. A bunch of idiots. Jun Xiaoyao sneered and waved his hand. In an instant, three figures stood in front of Jun Xiaoyao. When the three figures appeared, the aura in the entire area became chaotic. A majestic pressure spread out with a loud bang. The three figures shone with a cold metallic luster. They were tall, and their bodies were branded with many mysterious runes that carried some kind of ancient secret power. These are puppets. When the three puppets appeared, everyone present was a little shocked. However, when they felt the aura of the three puppets, the shock on their faces immediately turned into deep shock. This was because the three puppets all exuded supreme, saint-level energy waves. These three were all supreme, saint-level puppets. This was extremely terrifying, and their scalps were about to explode. Supreme saint-level puppets were extremely rare. Even in the immortal forces, there were only a few of them. Not to mention supreme saint-level puppets. There weren't many saint-level or saint-king-level puppets in the immortal realm. The two saints, Xueling and Remote Sky, were so shocked that their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. The anger and ferocity on their faces almost instantly turned into panic and disbelief. Go! Jun Xiaoyao's tone was indifferent. It was as if the god of death had arrived. The three supreme, saint-level puppets moved instantly. One of the puppets charged toward the two saints, Xueling and Remote Sky. The remaining two charged toward the Gongming family and the other two forces. Next, it was time for a massacre. Chapter 331. These three puppets were the Jiang family's Godslayer dolls. Each of them was at the Supreme Saint level. Everyone knew that the higher the level of a puppet, the harder it was to create. Saint-level puppets were rare in the immortal region. Supreme Saint-level puppets were even rarer. One might only see a few in immortal forces. Jun Xiaoyao had obtained a rare, star-splitting godly puppet in the lower realm. However, the star-shattering god puppet was merely at the saint realm. The Jiang family's Godslayer dolls were 2 levels higher than that. They were at the Supreme Saint level. The fact that the Jiang family gave Jun Xiaoyao 3 Godslayer dolls showed how much they cared about him. How is this possible? 3 Supreme Saint-level puppets? Who are you? Saints Tianyu and Xueling hurriedly retreated and said at the same time. Even a fallen winged race didn't have Supreme Saint-level puppets. Jun Xiaoyao did not reply. He simply looked at everything before him coldly. The 3 Godslayer dolls consumed a lot of immortal source. Fortunately, the Jiang family had already filled the Godslayer dolls with immortal source when they gave them to Jun Xiaoyao. Now, Jun Xiaoyao only needed to watch the Godslayer dolls kill. Boom! The Godslayer dolls punched. The runes on their bodies lit up, and a fierce spiritual power burst out. That's right. These Godslayer dolls could use spiritual power. This was an ability that only the most advanced puppets could have. The star-sundering divine puppet that Jun Xiaoyao had possessed before was only powerful in terms of physical strength. Bang! Saint Xueling was unable to resist the god-slaying doll's attack, and was blasted into a cloud of blood mist. Saint Darksky was scared out of his wits. He no longer had the dignity of saint. If you really want to do this, the fallen winged race's buried emperor won't let you go. Saint Darksky roared. Jun Xiaoyao didn't say a word. He didn't even want to talk. He had nothing in common with idiots. The Gongming family and the other two factions were just as miserable as the fallen winged saint. They had come here with wild ambitions, wanting to loot a burning house and divide up the Tsong family's resources. But now he had shot himself in the foot. The two god-slaying dolls started a bloody massacre of the experts of the three forces as if they had entered an uninhabited land. No, how could such a thing happen? I don't believe it. Where did this kid come from? The cultivators of the three forces were screaming. Their fear was mixed with despair. Clan head Gongming, who had been full of confidence earlier, was now in a sorry state. He was running away in a panic, his intestines turning green with regret. But under the hunting of the god-slaying dolls, how could any living being escape? The head of the Gongming family was smashed to death by the god-slaying doll's punch. Looking at this bloody massacre, the countless burial earth creatures in Baiwang City who were watching the battle felt as if their souls had been sucked out, leaving only their bodies standing where they were. Shock was not enough to describe their feelings at this moment. Jun Xiaoyao's methods were also completely beyond their expectations. Not only was his strength heaven-defying, he even had such a terrifying trump card. Only now did they realize that no one had ever investigated Jun Xiaoyao's background. As for the people of the Tsong family, they were also in a daze. Looking at the massacre of the three forces, the head of the Tsong family felt extremely happy. He even let out the stuffiness in his chest. He was also shocked by Jun Xiaoyao's generosity. 3 supreme Saint Realm puppets were taken away just like that. No wonder he was the successor of the Jun family. However, the head of the Tsong family was wrong about this. The god-slaying dolls were not given by the Jun family. Aha, my young friend, you've really hidden your strength. I was a little nosy. The head of the Tsong family chuckled. There was even a hint of flattery in his tone. You're too kind. I'm gratified that the head of the Tsong family is so considerate. Jun Xiaoyao looked deeply at the head of the Tsong family. How could he not know what the head of the Tsong family was really thinking? He just wanted to curry favor with the Jun family. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not care. The head of the Tsong family was willing to lend a hand, which proved his courage. In the future, the resources and territories of these three forces will be taken by the Tsong family, Jun Xiaoyao said casually. Really, the head of the Tsong family was overjoyed. The value of the resources and territories of these three forces was immeasurable. They were comparable to the Tsong family. It meant that the Tsong family had obtained the territories and resources of three forces of the same level. The return was also generous. Most importantly, the Tsong family did not lose a single soldier. The head of the Tsong family did not even make a move. He just stepped forward bravely. It was worth it. It was 2F*King worth it. Looking at the ecstatic head of the Tsong family, Jun Xiaoyao shook his head lightly. Jun Xiaoyao really did not care about the resources of these three forces. It did not matter if he treated it as charity. Moreover, he could also treat the Tsong family as a chess piece planted in the eternal burial ground. Who knew? They might be of some use. Jun Xiaoyao's calculations were deeper than anyone else's. However, although you have 3 supreme saint puppets and can deal with the current situation, if the fallen winged tribe's quasi-supreme or even the burial emperor is angered, the head of the Tsong family hesitated. Obviously, he was still worried about the fallen winged tribe. If they could not deal with the fallen winged tribe, no matter how many resources they had, it would be of no use to the Tsong family. Don't worry. If the fallen winged tribe is not stupid, someone should come knocking in a few days. Jun Xiaoyao smiled meaningfully. The head of the Tsong family saw this, and his heart skipped a beat. Could it be that Jun Xiaoyao was sure that the fallen winged tribe would give in? Just as the two of them were talking, the entire world quieted down. The 3 god-slaying puppets stood still in the void. It was not because the immortal source was exhausted, but because there was no target left. The 2 saints of the fallen winged tribe were killed. All of the experts of the 3 major forces were also slaughtered. Even the Saint King experts of the three forces hidden in the depths of the void were killed by the god-slaying puppets. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm as he put away the god-slaying puppets. In his opinion, this kind of massacre was nothing at all. After a short period of silence, the entire Baiwang city was in an uproar. Oh my God, today I witnessed an unprecedented event. One of the 10 minor kings, the fallen winged saint, has died. Not only that, but 2 saints of the fallen winged tribe have also died. Where did this human youth come from? He can use 3 supreme saint puppets so casually. Ordinary immortal forces are not so rich, right? Jun Xiaoyao had simply refreshed the understanding of these creatures of the burial earth. It was the first time they saw someone who could be so overbearing and not take the fallen wing tribe seriously at all. However, what made everyone more curious was how the fallen wing tribe would react to this matter. After all, a saint and 2 saints had died. With the domineering personality of the fallen wing tribe, it was impossible for them to swallow this insult. All of the burial earth beings believed that an even greater storm was about to descend upon them. Are you still looking for sign in to Sacred Body of the Ancients for free? Baidu directly searched. Easy, very simple. =. Chapter 332. The entire Baiwang city was in an uproar and could not calm down at all. This was because what had happened today was beyond their knowledge. It was conceivable that the news would spread throughout the entire dark nether realm and even to other regions in a few days. After all, the death of a genius of the 10 minor kings level was no small matter. However, compared to this, everyone was more interested in the fallen wing tribe's reaction. Jun Xiaoyao's 3 great saint realm god slaying dolls had indeed shocked everyone. However, the fallen wing tribe had nothing to be afraid of. Not to mention the fallen wing tribe's emperor, even a quasi-supreme, could easily deal with the 3 god-slaying dolls. Therefore, everyone was curious about what the fallen wing tribe would do next. Jun Xiaoyao looked around and said indifferently, "Since the show is over, let's go. I don't like noise." As soon as he finished speaking, the surrounding burial earth beings subconsciously took a few steps back and then turned to leave. Unknowingly, Jun Xiaoyao had also gained such prestige in the dark nether realm. The burial earth beings left with hearts filled with shock and awe. A powerhouse would be respected everywhere. Young Master Jun is too powerful. Song Yu and Song Shui's beautiful eyes were filled with excitement. Although Jun Xiaoyao had rejected them, it did not stop them from liking Jun Xiaoyao. After meeting Jun Xiaoyao, they might not fall in love with anyone else in this lifetime. This was because it was almost impossible to find a man more outstanding and perfect than Jun Xiaoyao. No, it was almost impossible. It was just impossible. What a pity. I thought the 10 minor kings of burial earth would bring me a surprise. It seems like I was overthinking. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. Hearing this, the Tsang family leader and the others did not know what to say. In the eyes of others, the 10 minor kings were superior and almost invincible. However, in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes, they were so weak. Young Master Jun is indeed powerful. However, although the fallen winged saint is one of the 10 minor kings, he is not in the top 5, the Tsang family leader said with a smile. Is that so? That's interesting. Perhaps the 10 kings feast will not be boring, Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. For some reason, the Tsang family beings felt a chill run down their spine when they heard this. The patriarch of the Tsang family began to pity the other 9 kings. The entire Baiwang city fell into a short period of peace. Fallen winged tribe in a few days. Therefore, around Baiwang city, many burial earth creatures did not leave. They wanted to see with their own eyes what the final outcome of this human from the outside world would be. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, seemed to be deliberately waiting for the fallen feathers to take their revenge, as he did not leave. This made the Tsang family even more grateful. This was because if Jun Xiaoyao left, the Tsang family would be the first to suffer. Jun Xiaoyao could leave, but the Tsang family could not move. Moreover, they could not leave the burial ground. It was impossible for them to escape from the fallen wing tribe. However, the Tsang family did not stay idle. They began to send people to take over the resource territories of the Gongming family and the other two forces. If the Tsang family could survive this disaster, they would become an immortal force like the Fallen Wing tribe. At the very least, they would be the strongest force after the Fallen Wing tribe. Only such a force was qualified to be used as a pawn by Jun Xiaoyao. Things did not turn out as expected. In less than 2 days, the entire Dark Nether Realm was in an uproar because of this matter. All the beings in the Dark Nether Realm were shocked and in disbelief when they first heard the news. They even thought it was a rumor. However, as the news spread, more and more beings came forward to verify it. Finally, the news was accepted by the public. Everyone's attention was focused on the Fallen Wing tribe. As the overlord of the Dark Nether Realm, what would the Fallen Wing tribe do next? Many beings felt that the Fallen Wing tribe would probably send a quasi-supreme to destroy the human in the outside world. In the depths of the Fallen Wing tribe's ancestral land, black demonic mountains towered high, emitting a terrifying death nether demonic chi. At this moment, there was a black sun in the middle of the mountain range. The black sun emanated a suffocating and terrifying pressure. Even a sage expert's physical body would crumble under such pressure. A vague silhouette could be seen sitting cross-legged in the middle of the black sun. The figure in the black sun was the Fallen Wing tribe's burial emperor, a supreme being. At this moment, there were several figures standing in the void around the Fallen Wing tribe's burial emperor. There were supreme being and quasi-supreme being auras among them. I didn't expect their tribe to come to the burial ground again, one of the supreme beings said coldly. Coincidentally, they have a conflict with our tribe, another supreme being said with a sigh. If it was an ordinary descendant of an immortal force, the Fallen Wing tribe would not even bother to discuss anything. They would just send someone to destroy them. However, the one who had a conflict with them was someone that even they felt was difficult to deal with. If they were not careful, they could bring disaster to the Fallen Wing tribe. What should we do next? One of the Fallen Wing tribe's supreme being asked with a headache. The few figures present all looked at the Fallen Wing tribe's burial emperor in the black sun. After a long while, the Fallen Wing tribe's burial emperor said, "Don't provoke them." Hearing these words, the few Fallen Wing tribe's supreme beings shuddered. They had expected this. But our tribe's saint and saint died in vain. What about our tribe's dignity? One of the quasi-supreme being said unwillingly. The one from the Jun family who entered the burial ground more than 10 years ago still has his aura. Moreover, there's another one in the burial ground. The Fallen Wing tribe's burial emperor said in a serious tone. Hearing this, the Fallen Wing tribe's supreme beings fell silent. Only they, the higher-ups, knew how terrifying the battle that affected the eternal burial ground was. The one from a Jun family could be considered a taboo. He killed several burial emperors in a row. In the end, he even went deep into the burial ground and fought with the great terrors that had existed since ancient times. He was simply too strong. We understand. The Fallen Wing tribe's supreme beings all sighed and replied. It was hard to imagine that the Fallen Wing tribe, the overlord of the underworld realm, would bow their heads and admit defeat one day. By the way, send another quasi-supreme being to explain the situation. If the son of God of the Jun family becomes jealous of us, I'm afraid there will be more trouble, the Fallen Wing tribe's burial emperor said. Hearing this, all the Fallen Wing tribe's supreme beings felt aggrieved and helpless. They were the overlords of the underworld realm, but they were forced to such an extent by a junior. It was simply unimaginable. Are you still looking for Check in Sacred Body of the Ancients for free? Baidu directly searched. Easy, very simple. =. Chapter 333. During these few days, Jun Xiaoyao remained in Baiwang City. The Tsang sisters also served Jun Xiaoyao very attentively, pouring tea and water for him. In the past few days, the master of the Tsang family had also sent experts to the locations of the 3 major forces to plunder their territories and resources. After learning about Jun Xiaoyao's background, the Tsang family head felt that perhaps the fallen winged race would be a little afraid of the Jun family. However, a few days later, news spread that the fallen winged race had sent a team led by a quasi-supreme being to Baiwang City. This news made the entire Baiwang City the focus of everyone's attention once again. The Tsang family head and the others were all anxious. Although Jun Xiaoyao's background was terrifying, it was hard to guarantee that the fallen winged race would lose their minds and attack Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao himself was incomparably calm, quietly waiting for the fallen winged race team to arrive. In less than half a day, a terrifying quasi-supreme being aura came from the distant sky. The fallen winged race team had arrived. In Baiwang City, the living beings were in an uproar. That pressure could easily crush the entire Baiwang City into dust. Is the Jun family son of God here? The quasi-supreme, fallen winged race said expressionlessly, no emotions visible. Hearing this tone, the living beings in Baiwang City were a little surprised. Why did it feel like they were not here to collect debts? The fallen winged race is finally here. Why? Are you going to attack the Son of God? Jun Xiaoyao walked out of the Tsang family with a calm expression. Facing a quasi-supreme being, there was no trace of awe or respect on his face. There was even a hint of cold ridicule in his eyes. Jun Xiaoyao's tone made the quasi-supreme fallen winged race's eyes twitch, and he forced a stiff smile. What are you talking about? My fallen winged race offended the Son of God. It's our fault. Why would we attack the Son of God? Hearing this, the entire Baiwang City fell into a dead silence. Many of the living beings in the burial ground thought that they had misheard. Their minds seemed to have frozen, and they could not wrap their heads around it. But what happened next was even more shocking to them. The fallen winged race, quasi-supreme, took out a spatial artifact and squeezed out a smile. In order to express our apologies, this is a small token from the fallen winged race. We hope that the Son of God can accept it. As the fallen winged race's quasi-supreme spoke, he was afraid of neglecting Jun Xiaoyao, so he even took out the Dharma artifact inside to show it to him. There were all kinds of treasure pills and sage herbs. There were also many divine weapons and artifacts, all of which were extremely rare. There were even some obsidian crystals and 5 elements living soil that were unique to burial earth. Not only did the fallen winged race not come looking for trouble, they even wanted to apologize to Jun Xiaoyao and compensate him with such a heavy gift. This caused all of the burial earth creatures to have a misconception. Was this still the tyrannical fallen winged race? Even the people from the Tsang family were dumbfounded. They didn't expect things to turn out this way. It seems that I still underestimated the power of the Jun family of the ancients. The head of the Tsang family was shocked. At the same time, he was glad that the Tsang family had made the right bet this time. Jun Xiaoyao took the Dharma artifact. Other than the obsidian crystals and 5 elements living soil that he was more interested in, the rest of the items were not attractive to him. However, the fallen winged race was tactful. Not everyone in the race was stupid. There were still some smart people. That's enough, Jun Xiaoyao said lightly. He had a mission in burial earth, so he couldn't be bothered to tangle with the fallen winged race. Thank you, Son of God, for your generosity. We won't disturb you any longer. After receiving Jun Xiaoyao's reply, the quasi-supreme of the fallen winged race heaved a sigh of relief. If Jun Xiaoyao still refused to give up, he didn't know how to deal with it. The fallen winged race's group left directly. As for the burial earth creatures in Baiwang City, they were frozen in place for a long time, as if they had been petrified. You can take these. With your relationship with me, the fallen winged race won't make things difficult for you. Jun Xiaoyao took the obsidian crystals and 5 elements living soil for himself and gave the rest to the Tsang family. The patriarch of the Tsang family suddenly knelt down and said, "The Tsang family is willing to serve young master forever." The rest of the Tsang family members also knelt down. The Tsang sisters also bowed. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly and didn't say anything. He nodded slightly, but his eyes seemed to be deep in thought as he looked into the depths of the Tsang family. It seems that the patriarch of the Tsang family is a shrewd person. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. However, this was not a bad thing. For Jun Xiaoyao, he now had a pawn in burial earth. The matter in the dark nether realm was finally over. Jun Xiaoyao didn't delay. He immediately set off and prepared to leave the dark Netherrealm. The Tsong's sisters were naturally reluctant to part with him, but they could only suppress their sadness and send him off with tears in their eyes. Meanwhile, the various storms that Jun Xiaoyao had stirred up in the dark nether realm spread out and spread to the other 9 realms. In terms of prosperity, the Azura realm was ranked in the top 3 among the 10 realms of Burial Earth. It was far from the remote corners of the dark nether realm. Like the fallen winged race in the dark nether realm, the Azura realm only had one ruling force, the Azura Demon Kingdom. The Azura Demon Kingdom was the ruler of the Azura realm. The Azura Burial Sovereign of the Azura Demon Kingdom was also the ruler of the Azura realm. Of course, the Azura Burial Sovereign was not the most famous and eye-catching existence in the Azura Demon Kingdom. It was the 9th princess of the Azura Demon Kingdom, Lang Huan. The 9th princess Lang Huan's strength was needless to say. She was ranked 2nd among the 10 minor kings. However, this was not the most important thing. The most important thing was that Lang Huan was extremely beautiful. She was one of the most beautiful women in the eternal Burial Earth. Everyone knew that in the special environment of the Burial Earth, most of the creatures in the Burial Earth were ugly. It was also because of this that the 9th princess of the Azura Demon Kingdom was so popular. At this moment, in an extremely luxurious palace in the Azura Demon Kingdom's Imperial Palace, a woman in a purple dress who looked to be in her 20s was leaning lazily on the bed. She had a head of purple hair that shone brightly. She was extremely tall and had amazing curves. Although she wore a purple dress, her waist was exposed. Her snow-white and sparkling stomach was very flat. Her appearance was also very stunning. Her facial features were extremely beautiful. Her eyes were like black gems, her eyebrows were curved, and her bright red lips were very moist. She was very charming. She was so beautiful that she could be considered one of the top beauties even in the entire Huangtian mystic realm, let alone in the eternal burial ground. Many male geniuses would fall head over heels for her. This woman was the 9th princess of the Azura Demon Kingdom, Lang Huan. In front of Lang Huan's bed, a woman in white was half kneeling. Her hair was as black as ink, and her face was very beautiful. Her appearance and temperament were not much worse than Lang Huan's. "Xian'er, what news have you received?" Lang Huan looked at the woman in white and asked. The woman in white was her personal servant, Qin Xian'er. Her cultivation was almost on par with some of the 10 minor kings. However, Lang Huan was ranked 2nd among the 10 minor kings. It was not strange for her to have such a follower. "Your Highness, there is news from the underworld. The fallen feather saint is dead," Qin Xian'er said. "Oh, the fallen feather saint is dead?" Lang Huan's long and curly eyelashes fluttered slightly. She seemed a little surprised. Although the fallen feather saint was nothing in her eyes, he was still one of the 10 minor kings. How could he die so easily? Not only that, the fallen feather tribe did not even dare to pursue the matter. They even sent a quasi-supreme elite to apologize. Qin Xian'er continued. "There is such a thing?" Lang Huan was surprised again. As the 9th princess of the Azura Demon Kingdom, although she did not need to care about the fallen feather tribe, she had to admit that the fallen feather tribe's strength was not much weaker than that of the Azura Demon Kingdom. There was a force that could make the fallen feather tribe submit. Could it be that the ancient overlord body of the Nether King Palace killed the fallen feather saint? Lang Huan could not help but think. Before Qin Xian'er finished speaking, she continued, "Most importantly, the person who killed the fallen feather saint is said to be a human from the outside world, and he is alone." "What?" Hearing this, even Lang Huan could not help but get up from the bed. Her expression was extremely shocked. Chapter 334. When she first heard this news, Lang Huan thought that the fallen feather holy son was blind and provoked other kings who were stronger than him. But now, Qin Xian'er said that he was killed by a human from the outside world. Most importantly, the human from the outside world was alone. But the entire fallen feather race didn't dare to take revenge on him. They even had to compromise and apologize. Now, there was something to it. Lang Huan stood up in surprise. Her tall and slender figure was fully exposed. Because her purple dress was forked, Her long and slender legs that were as fair as ivory were exposed. Qin Sienna looked at Lang Huan's slender legs and blushed. She lowered her head. Lang Huan didn't notice. She was thinking about this news, because it was too unbelievable. Are there any other details? Lang Huan asked. Although she was a woman, her skills and vision weren't inferior to a man's. To a certain extent, she was similar to Princess Longji. They were both strong women. Lang Huan vaguely sensed that the human from the outside world might bring unprecedented changes to the eternal burial ground. I heard that the human from the outside world has the surname June. Also, he looks good, Qin Sienna said. Surname June. Could it be such a coincidence? Lang Huan's eyes flickered. She naturally knew about the incident from more than 10 years ago. If his surname was June, it was a coincidence. Why was the fallen feather race so afraid? Could it be true that someone from that race has come to the eternal burial ground again? Lang Huan muttered to herself. Combined with the fallen feather race's attitude, perhaps the human from the outside world with the surname June was the June family that had wreaked havoc in the eternal burial ground. No wonder the fallen feather race was afraid. Lang Huan sighed softly. If the Azura Demon Kingdom encountered such a situation, it would be difficult to deal with it. You said that the June family's prodigy is very handsome? Lang Huan's eyes showed a hint of interest. Qin Sienna nodded slightly. The men in the eternal burial ground are all dirty and ugly things made of mud. Just looking at them makes me sick. I don't have the slightest interest. I wonder how handsome the June family's prodigy is? Lang Huan murmured. As one of the most beautiful women in eternal burial earth, Lang Huan's standards were very high. However, none of the men of the same generation as her were good enough to catch her eye. Even the leader of the 10 minor kings, the ancient overlord body, who was stronger than her, belonged to the majestic and muscular type. She did not expose Lang Huan's hobby at all. Her type was a handsome little puppy. His skin was fair and he was handsome. She would *CK him until he cried. This was the only way to satisfy her desire to conquer. Sigh, what a pity. The 10 Kings banquet is about to begin, and I can't find the time. Otherwise, I would have gone to the underworld to see if that genius of the June family is to my liking, Lang Huan said regretfully. Qin Sienna half knelt on the ground and lowered her head, not saying a word. Only then did Lang Huan notice. Her eyes flashed with a devilish charm as her lips curled into a seductive smile. Sienna, are you jealous? Oh no. Qin Sienna lowered her head even more. Ever since her consciousness was born, she had been following Lang Huan. Countless male geniuses wanted to pursue Lang Huan, but they were all abandoned by Lang Huan. In her opinion, the male geniuses of the burial earth were all ugly things made of mud. They were stupid and ugly, disgusting to look at. 127 on the contrary, Lang Huan loved and took care of Qin Sienna. Qin Sienna even thought that Lang Huan might not like men. But now, Qin Sienna understood that it was not that Lang Huan did not like men. It was just that her standards were too high and she had not met anyone she liked. Don't worry, how could I abandon such a lovely person like Sienna? Lang Huan stretched out one of her slender legs and lifted Qin Sienna's chin. Her eyes were seductive and ambiguous. Your Highness. Qin Sienna's beautiful eyes were filled with infatuation and adoration. Sienna, go and pick a few holy guard for me to attend the feast of the 10 kings with me, Lang Huan said. Sienna will do as you command, Qin Sienna said. After Qin Sienna left, Lang Huan lay on the bed, her jade-like hand holding her jade-like chin as she pondered. Why did the genius of the June family come to the burial earth? Is it because the burial earth is about to open? Lang Huan pondered and could not find an answer for the time being. However, she vaguely felt that the Feast of the 10 Kings might not be so peaceful. Tianming territory was the most prosperous territory of the 10 regions of the eternal burial earth. There was also an overlord force in this territory, which was the Hall of Hades. Speaking of the Hall of Hades, in addition to the extremely powerful Tianming burial emperor whose name shook the burial earth, there was also the strongest genius of the Hall of Hades, the legendary ancient overlord body. Rumor had it that this overlord body had climbed out of the abyss by himself. When he climbed out, his aura shook the entire Tianming territory. At this moment, in the depths of the Hall of Hades, a figure was sitting cross-legged on a lonely peak. It was a well-built man with loose black hair and bronze skin. His face was rough, and the scene of the sun being destroyed and the stars sinking appeared in his eyes. His entire person carried an aura of arrogance that could not be restrained. It was as sharp as an unsheathed sword, showing off its sharpness. The well-built young man's aura was terrifyingly strong, and he had an invincible spirit that could sweep through everything. However, what was eye-catching was that his bronze-colored muscular body was full of cracks, which made him look like cracked porcelain. Even so, the fierce power contained in his physical body still made the surrounding void seem to be faintly distorted. This young man, with a fierce aura, was the ancient overlord body of the Hall of Hades, a young supreme being with an incomplete physical body. He was very strong, as the rare overlord body of the heavens. Even if it was incomplete, he still sat firmly in the top position of the 10 minor kings. At this moment, the ancient overlord body, Chu Tianba, shot out a cold light from his eyes. I feel the aura of an old enemy. Chu Tianba's voice was deep, like a lion's. He crawled out of the abyss and forgot everything. He threw away his past and left behind only his name and a broken tyrant body. Even so, the fate that was engraved in his bones could not be shaken off. The overlord body of the heavens and the sacred body of the ancients were destined to be mortal enemies. Could it be that the genius of the Jun family has the sacred body of the ancients? Chu Tianba's eyes surged with coldness. Even if he and Jun Xiaoyao did not know each other, and there was not even a trace of resentment between them. However, it did not prevent him from being hostile to Jun Xiaoyao. The two great physiques were life and death enemies. There is no need for any fancy grudges or gratitude. If they met, they would just fight. I'll wait for you. Chu Tianba stood up, his black hair dancing wildly, and looked down at the mountains and rivers. He suddenly stomped his foot, and with a rumble, the lonely peak under his feet cracked. The rock wall peeled off, revealing 4 big words. Chapter 335. The news of the fallen Feather Saint's death and the fallen Feather Tribe's surrender spread throughout the burial ground in a short period of time. Among the 10 minor kings, Chu Tianba and Lang Huan were not the only ones who received the news. The other minor kings also received the news. Among these prodigies, some were watching the show, some were surprised, and some were not convinced. After all, the fallen Feather Saint was a creature of the burial ground and one of the 10 minor kings. However, the person who killed him was a prodigy from the outside world. Did this mean that the 10 minor kings could not defeat a prodigy from the outside world? How could the 10 minor kings face this? Therefore, some of the 10 minor kings were eager to fight Jun Xiaoyao. If it were not for the 10 kings' feast, they would have left for the dark nether realm. However, all of them did not know that. Jun Xiaoyao had already left the dark nether realm. In the sky above a scarlet plain at the border of the Azura realm, a flying boat was crossing the void. A group of creatures stood on the flying boat. They were surrounding a handsome young man in snow-white clothes. It was Jun Xiaoyao. You're so powerful, young master. You defeated the demonic wolf bandits with one palm strike. This group of creatures was very young. They were traveling together to the Azura realm. Unexpectedly, along the way, they met the infamous demon wolf bandits on this blood plains. Just as they were surrounded, a young man in white descended from the sky and defeated the demonic wolf bandits with one palm strike. This made this group of young creatures extremely impressed. Don't mention it. It's nothing. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand slightly. He was not doing this out of boredom. He wanted this group of people to lead the way for him. After all, he was not familiar with the burial ground. Young master, you said you came from the dark nether realm. Have you heard that the fallen Feather Saint of the dark nether realm was killed by a prodigy from the outside world? A young man with horns on his head asked. I killed him, Jun Xiaoyao said. The entire flying boat fell silent as everyone looked at each other. Then they all burst into laughter. Sir, you really know how to joke. That person is a genius from the outside world, while you are a creature from the burial earth. The horned man laughed. At this moment, there was indeed a thick aura of death rolling around Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao smiled casually, not caring at all. After refining the yin-yang divine fruit, he naturally gained the ability to convert his vitality into death qi. If he didn't do so, he would be surrounded by people wherever he went, which would be detrimental to his movements. Young master, with your strength, could it be that you came to the Azura region for the 9th princess's holy guard selection? The other woman hesitated for a long time before asking. She looked at Jun Xiaoyao with a shy expression, but she still mustered the courage to talk to him. Selection of holy guards. Jun Xiaoyao was slightly confused. Young master, don't tell me you don't know about this? Everyone was surprised. Weren't those who came to the Azura region during this period of time all for the selection of holy guards? Jun Xiaoyao then learned about it. The so-called selection of holy guards was a message sent by the 9th princess of the Azura Demon Kingdom. Every time the 10 Kings feast began, the 10 minor kings would select a group of holy guards and let them fight for their respective kings. There seemed to be a deeper reason for the 10 Kings feast this time. In the eyes of these creatures, Jun Xiaoyao was so strong that he should be running for the 9th princess's holy guard selection. But they didn't expect that Jun Xiaoyao had never even heard of it. Selection of holy guards for the 10 Kings feast. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. He seemed to have found a breakthrough. As for the 9th princess Lang Huan, Jun Xiaoyao also knew about her. She ranked second among the 10 minor kings and was quite strong. In the outside world, she was probably one of the top geniuses. Jun Xiaoyao didn't care about Lang Huan, but he could learn about the 10 Kings feast and the burial realm from Lang Huan. After all, Lang Huan's status was much higher than that of the Song sisters, so she naturally knew more. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao thinking, the horned creature said, "Young master, do you want to participate in the selection with us? Maybe you'll be lucky enough to see that legendary beauty." At this point, all of the male living beings present revealed lecherous expressions. After all, the burial realm was a special environment and there were few beauties, so it was understandable for them to show such expressions. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, didn't care. He had seen many beauties and was completely indifferent. You want me to be someone else's holy guard? Ha! I'd rather have Lang Huan be my maid. Jun Xiaoyao smiled casually. However, this sentence caused all the living beings present to shudder. The Horn Man was even more surprised. Young master, in the Azura domain, you must not say that. You'll be beaten. The 9th princess Lang Huan was very popular in the Azura domain. If Jun Xiaoyao's words were heard by others, he would definitely be beaten. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head, not knowing what to say. To Jun Xiaoyao, taking a princess as a maid wasn't a strange thing. Wasn't Wu Mingwei, the eldest princess of the Panwu Jin dynasty, trained by him to be obedient? Training the Devil Kingdom's 9th princess Lang Huan shouldn't take much effort from Jun Xiaoyao. Do you think young master is as greedy for beauty as you? Several female creatures asked, their eyes full of splendor. A handsome man like Jun Xiaoyao, who wasn't greedy for beauty, was too rare in the burial realm. Since we have nothing to do, let's go take a look, Jun Xiaoyao said. After that, the group went deep into the Azura domain. The Azura Demon Kingdom was located in the center of the Azura domain. It was an extremely prosperous kingdom. The selection of holy guards was held in the Azura Demon Kingdom's imperial palace. In just a few days, thousands of burial realm geniuses rushed to the Azura Demon Kingdom's imperial capital. It couldn't be helped. The Devil Kingdom's 9th princess Lang Huan was too famous in the Azura domain. For many geniuses, even if they couldn't be selected as holy guards in the end, being able to see Lang Huan was already a gain. A few days later, Jun Xiaoyao finally saw the Azura Demon Kingdom's imperial capital. Looking around, the entire imperial capital's walls were dark red, which matched the Azura Demon Kingdom's iron-blooded temperament. The towering walls stretched to the left and right, stretching to the end. We're finally here. With young master's strength, you might be able to be selected as a holy guard, the horned youth said with a smile. Jun Xiaoyao smiled, but didn't say anything. It was impossible for him to be someone's guard. It was impossible in this lifetime. After all, Taking in slaves was Jun Xiaoyao's hobby. After Jun Xiaoyao and the others entered the city, they went directly to the imperial palace. At this moment, the Azura Demon Kingdom's imperial palace was already filled with a sea of people. Among them, there were quite a few who were extremely powerful. What's more, their auras were not much weaker than the fallen Feather Saint. But now, they were willing to be selected as Lang Huan's holy guards. It could be seen that no matter when and where, there was no shortage of licking dogs. Jun Xiaoyao couldn't help but shake his head. She was just a woman. What was there to lick? At this moment, a beautiful woman in white flew over from the sky. It's the ninth princess's personal maid, Qin Xiener. Cheers sounded from all directions. Jun Xiaoyao also looked over. Chapter 336. The woman named Qin Xiener was dressed in white and had a delicate and beautiful appearance. The rarest thing was that her cultivation aura had reached the divine fire realm's perfection, which was similar to the fallen Feather Saint. A maid of Lang Huan's cultivation is comparable to the 10 minor kings. Jun Xiaoyao was a little puzzled. Why would she be someone else's maid with such strength? The horned youth explained, Qin Xiener has always been with Princess Lang Huan and has a deep relationship. Although her cultivation is not bad, she is also willing to be a maid. Jun Xiaoyao nodded after hearing that. Cough, cough. Maybe the ninth princess's standards are too high, and she doesn't like ordinary men. But with young master's appearance and strength, there might be a chance, the horned youth said. Even a man like him was shocked by Jun Xiaoyao's appearance when he first saw him. He couldn't help but exclaim, maybe Lang Huan would really like him. At this moment, Qin Xiener said, everyone Her Highness needs to select 5 holy guards to attend the 10 Kings banquet with her. The selection will begin now. Cultivation must be at least at the Ascension realm's perfection. Those who don't meet the requirements don't waste time. Those who meet the requirements will compete in pairs and choose the top 5. Qin Xiener's words immediately eliminated a large number of burial earth creatures. Although the burial earth creature's cultivation realm was generally 1 or 2 levels higher than the outside world. But among the younger generation, there were still a few geniuses who had reached the Ascension realm's perfection. As for those above the Divine Fire realm, there were even fewer. Thousands of creatures had come to the palace, and there were only 100 or so who met the requirements. Jun Xiaoyao stood out like a crane among a flock of chickens among the 100 or so people, because his temperament couldn't be concealed at all. Even though Jun Xiaoyao had transformed his vitality into death qi, he had lost some of his immortal aura. However, his handsome appearance and extraordinary temperament were still very eye-catching. Who is that young man? His temperament is so extraordinary. Damn, he's so handsome. Is he here to be a holy guard or a beauty pageant? This kid can't be thinking of using his looks to climb up the social ladder of Princess Lang Huan, right? There was an uproar. Those who came to participate in the holy guard selection were almost all males. At this moment, seeing Jun Xiaoyao's appearance, they were naturally envious and jealous. Their eyes were filled with hostility. Jun Xiaoyao had become the public enemy of all men. On the contrary, the eyes of some female creatures who came to watch the show lit up, and they instantly turned into she-wolves. Even Qin Xiener was slightly stunned when she saw Jun Xiaoyao. This person was quite good-looking. Then, after probing Jun Xiaoyao's aura, Qin Xiener revealed a shocked expression. Jun Xiaoyao's aura actually made her feel an extreme sense of danger. This also proved that this ridiculously handsome youth before him had actually reached the great circle of the divine fire realm. Even the 10 young kings were nothing more than this. Qin Xiener was truly shocked. Would the geniuses at the level of the 10 minor kings come to select holy guards? Are you also here to participate in the holy guard selection? Qin Xiener couldn't help but ask. No. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. This caused the surrounding geniuses of the burial ground to be somewhat stunned. If you're not here to select holy guards, why are you here? Then what are you doing here? Qin Xiener frowned slightly. Although she couldn't see through this youth's background, if he was here to cause trouble, Qin Xiener wasn't afraid. This was the Azura Demon Kingdom's imperial palace. Who would dare to cause trouble here? To recruit a maid, Jun Xiaoyao said lightly. Who? Qin Xian'er was puzzled. Why would a maid come to the imperial palace? Besides, there is no maid here for him to recruit. Lang Huan, Jun Xiaoyao said calmly with his hands behind his back. With that one sentence, the entire place fell into dead silence. Everyone present was petrified, thinking that they had heard wrongly. I didn't hear wrong, right? This youth said Lang Huan, right? Yes, it's the 9th princess Lang Huan. Is he crazy? Everyone present looked at Jun Xiaoyao in shock, as if they were looking at a lunatic. In the Azura Demon Kingdom's imperial palace, in front of Lang Huan's personal maid, Qin Xian'er, he said he wanted to recruit Lang Huan as a maid. This was a heavenly show. He actually dares to say. The group of people who came with Jun Xiaoyao were all tongue-tied, unable to say a word. They thought that Jun Xiaoyao was just joking with them. They didn't expect him to really have such thoughts and even say it out loud. You! Qin Xian'er was also stunned. She didn't expect Jun Xiaoyao to boast so shamelessly. However, before she could speak, the other geniuses of the burial ground who were participating in the Holy Guard selection shouted loudly. How dare you? The 9th princess is not someone you can slander so easily. That's right. The 9th princess is not only of noble status, but she is also the top genius ranked second among the 10 minor kings. Are you worthy of saying such words? Many geniuses present scolded him. Lang Huan was a goddess in their hearts. Being recruited as a maid by another man was simply an insult to them. Noble status? Powerful strength? Am I not worthy? Jun Xiaoyao laughed. In front of him, who dared to say that they were of noble status? In front of him, who dared to say that they were powerful? Get lost. Jun Xiaoyao stomped his foot, and a terrifying shock wave spread out. The surrounding creatures of the burial ground who were slightly weaker screamed and were sent flying. Some of the weaker cultivators even had their bodies explode, killed by the shockwave. With this stomp, the surroundings immediately quieted down. Those geniuses of the burial ground who were scolding Jun Xiaoyao just now looked as if their necks were stuck. Their faces were pale, and they couldn't utter a word. Jun Xiaoyao's words were a little arrogant, but his strength was there for all to see. Oh, you're not bad. No wonder you have the confidence to say such words and insult Princess Lang Huan. A young man with pale dragon horns on his head and bone wings on his back walked out calmly. Insult? It should be an honor to be my maid, Jun Xiaoyao said calmly as he looked at the man. The cultivation of the perfection divine fire realm was comparable to that of the 10 minor kings. It's Long Kuan of the Corpse Dragon clan. He actually came to participate in the Holy Guard selection. Seeing the man with dragon horns on his head and bone wings on his back, the surrounding people exclaimed in surprise. The Corpse Dragon clan was an extremely powerful clan in the burial ground. They controlled the dragon skeleton region of the 10 regions. Most of the creatures in the clan were dragons buried underground, such as the Azure Dragon, Nether Dragon, and other dragons. In terms of strength and foundation, the Corpse Dragon clan, Nether King Palace, Azura Demon Kingdom, and others were the top forces in the burial ground 10 regions. Even the Fallen Wing clan was slightly inferior. And among the 10 minor kings, there was also a genius of the Corpse Dragon clan. Leisurely literature, let the soul travel. Chapter 337. Although Long Kuan was not as strong as the 10 little kings of the Corpse Dragon tribe, he was not much weaker. As a prodigy of the Corpse Dragon tribe, he was willing to become Lang Huan's holy guard. It was obvious how much Long Kuan admired Lang Huan. The dragon tribe again. Jun Xiaoyao narrowed his eyes. He wondered if he was born to be at odds with the dragon tribe. In the celestial realm, Zulon was against him. Now, he met the Corpse Dragon tribe in the burial ground. Kid, I'm warning you. Don't be arrogant just because you have some strength. The 9th princess is not someone you can profane. Long Kuan's eyes were cold. At the same time, there was a hint of jealousy. If he had Jun Xiaoyao's looks, he might be able to move Lang Huan's heart. In the end, only ugly people would be a bootlicker. Those who were handsome and beautiful only needed to wait for others to lick them. Therefore, Long Kuan was jealous. He definitely did not want Lang Huan to see this pretty boy. I hate loaches the most. I didn't expect you to send yourself to me. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was cold. In the next moment, he directly punched Long Kuan. How dare you? Long Kuan shouted angrily. As a prodigy of the corpse dragon tribe, someone actually dared to provoke him. He was simply courting death. This kid probably doesn't know how powerful the corpse dragon tribe is. He actually dares to take the initiative to fight. Everyone around gasped in surprise as they watched Jun Xiaoyao throw a punch at his opponent. Long Kuan also raised his fist and collided with Jun Xiaoyao's. But the result was crack, crack, crack. A series of bone-cracking sounds were heard. Jun Xiaoyao's punch shattered half of Long Kuan's body without any resistance. Broken bones splattered all over the sky. The eyes of the people present almost popped out. The corpse dragon tribe's strong physical body was famous in the eternal burial ground. Other than the ancient overlord of the Nether King Palace, who dared to fight the corpse dragon tribe with their physical body. Most importantly, Jun Xiaoyao defeated Long Kuan with a crushing force. This was unbelievable. How is this possible? Qin Xiener's small mouth couldn't help but open slightly, and she was somewhat absent-minded. Even if it was her, she would not be able to gain the slightest advantage against Long Kuan, let alone fight him with her physical body. Just how strong was this young man's physical body? You? Who exactly are you? Long Kuan's expression was horrified, and half of his body cracked and shattered while his eyes were suffused with terror. He never thought that there would be a day when he would run into an iron plate. Jun Xiaoyao ignored him and pressed down with his palm again. Long Kuan felt goosebumps all over his body, as if he had fallen into an ice cave. He could feel the aura of death. He hurriedly retreated and shouted, "I'm a member of the Corpse Dragon clan. Do you really have the guts to kill me?" Jun Xiaoyao turned a blind eye to it and slammed his palm down. Qin Xiener opened her mouth and was about to stop him when she heard a bang. Long Kuan had been smashed into a meat patty by Jun Xiaoyao. All the living beings present were dumbfounded. The prodigy of the Corpse Dragon clan was killed without hesitation. This handsome young master was too ferocious. Those living beings who came with Jun Xiaoyao at the beginning trembled and secretly swallowed a mouthful of saliva. They probably never thought that this young master who came with them would be so ferocious. Who else wants to go? Jun Xiaoyao looked around. The prodigies of the burial ground next to him had uncertain expressions. They could not see through Jun Xiaoyao at all. However, when they thought of Jun Xiaoyao wanting to take Lang Huan as a maid, they felt anger in their hearts. How could their goddess be slandered like this? Everyone, let's go together. I don't believe that he can deal with all of us alone. That's right. The ninth princess can't be slandered. We can't let the ninth princess see this brat. The surrounding prodigies of the burial ground were filled with righteous indignation. To put it bluntly, they did not want Lang Huan to see Jun Xiaoyao. If she saw him, you might really be able to gain Lang Huan's favor. This was something that these bootlickers definitely did not want to see. Bootlickers really have to die. Jun Xiaoyao looked at this group of burial ground prodigies who were reckless for Lang Huan and shook his head slightly. The evils they brought on themselves were the hardest to bear. Don't be a dog in your next life. Be a human. Jun Xiaoyao directly pushed out his palm and crushed a group of prodigies into meat patties. Broken limbs splattered all over the sky. Many prodigies of the burial ground screamed and died. Even Qin Xiener was dumbfounded and speechless. It was supposed to be the Holy Guard selection, but now it was Jun Xiaoyao who was slaughtering them alone. Was there even a need for selection? There was no need to compete at all. Jun Xiaoyao alone was enough to fight against 1,000 prodigies. This person, could he be? Qin Xiener's beautiful eyes flashed. She was not stupid and immediately thought of the Jun family's prodigy who had been in the limelight recently. However, what puzzled Qin Xiener was that that person was a prodigy from the outside world. But this handsome young man in front of her was surrounded by the aura of death. He was a standard creature of the burial ground. However, according to the standards of the Holy Guard selection, Jun Xiaoyao did indeed pass. Not only did he pass, but he also far exceeded the standards. Qin Xianer even thought that if Jun Xiaoyao participated in the 10 Kings banquet, he would be able to compete with the other kings. You pass. You can become the princess's holy guard, Qin Xianer said. Although Qin Xianer did not want such a handsome young man to get close to Lang Huan, Qin Xianer had to obey Lang Huan's order. However, since this was Lang Huan's order, Qin Xianer would strictly abide by it. She would absolutely not delay Lang Huan's matters because of her own selfish motives. Don't you understand what I just said? Hearing Qin Xianer's words, Jun Xiaoyao stood with his hands behind his back with a calm expression. He was here to take in a maid, not to be someone's guard. Young master, it's time to quit. Otherwise, offending the 9th princess will not end well. The young man with horns on his head advised. All of them thought that Jun Xiaoyao was a prideful man, and that he was probably saying something like that just to show off. Jun Xiaoyao did not say anything. Qin Xianer could not help but feel anger rising in her heart. You're very handsome and very strong. But so what? In her heart, Lang Huan was an existence that could not be blasphemed. Just as Qin Xianer was about to personally make a move, a pleasant and charming voice suddenly sounded from the depths of the palace in the distance. I didn't expect that such a handsome puppy like you would appear to participate in the Holy Guard selection. Puppy. Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows. Was she cursing him? As the voice sounded, a beautiful figure in a purple dress suddenly appeared in the void. Her purple hair was like a waterfall falling straight to her hips. As her dress fluttered, it revealed a pair of beautiful legs that were as slender as ivory, comparable to Princess Longji's legs. The woman was extremely beautiful. Her eyebrows were curved, her eyes were like gems, and her lips were red. Her slender waist was exposed, adding a bit of seduction to the woman's charm. The woman who appeared was Lang Huan. At this moment, her eyes were fixed on Jun Xiaoyao, and her beautiful eyes shone with a seductive light. This handsome and dashing little puppy was just too much to her liking. She wanted to ride him under her body and spoil him. Chapter 338. As one of the most beautiful women in the eternal burial ground, Lang Huan had high standards. Therefore, she looked down on any male creature in the burial ground. But the white-robed young man in front of her, even with Lang Huan's picky and harsh eyes, she couldn't find a single flaw. Not only that, but he also made Lang Huan feel ashamed of her inferiority. It was as if she didn't deserve him. This was the first time Lang Huan felt this way. Lang Huan's gaze was very aggressive, as if she wanted to eat Jun Xiaoyao. Little puppy, do you want to be my holy guard? Lang Huan's tone was seductive as her pink tongue gently licked her red lips. You're scolding me again? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. Haha, this is not scolding, it's a compliment. Lang Huan's beautiful eyes were full of smiles, but there was a trace of deep thought in her eyes. I said, I'm not here to be a holy guard. I'm here to take in a maid, Jun Xiaoyao said lightly. You want me to be your maid? That's fine, as long as you can beat me in bed. Such straightforward words made the surrounding creatures of the burial ground dumbfounded. Many of Lang Huan's admirers were among them, and they all looked very unhappy, as if they had eaten feces. Although they had nothing to do with Lang Huan, when they heard their goddess say such words, they felt like they had been cuckolded. Jun Xiaoyao chuckled and didn't say anything. Lang Huan was very beautiful, but Jun Xiaoyao had seen too many beauties. With his status in the Huangtian mystic realm, as long as he hooked his finger, thousands of peerless prides and princesses of large countries would recommend themselves to him. He really didn't take Lang Huan seriously. However, the aura that Lang Huan vaguely revealed caught Jun Xiaoyao's attention. Her aura was also at the great completion of the divine fire realm, not far from the void god realm. The selection of the holy guard is over. You alone are enough. Follow me. Lang Huan's tone was charming and seductive. She turned around and went deep into the palace. Jun Xiaoyao smiled calmly and followed him without any hesitation. Originally, they were going to select 5 holy guards. But now, Lang Huan only wanted Jun Xiaoyao. The rest were all filtered out. No, tell me this isn't true. How could Princess Lang Huan take a fancy to another man? Many male sky prides let out heartbroken wails. Wasn't this development a little too fast? He actually brought her back to the bedroom directly. Impressive. The horned young man swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Suddenly, a creature beside him shuddered as if he had just recalled something. That's impossible. Is he really? What do you mean? The horned youth asked. Have you forgotten? At that time, we were talking about the death of the fallen feather holy son from the realm of dark nether. And he said he killed him. We thought it was a joke, but now it seems. As soon as these words were spoken, the living beings who had come with Jun Xiaoyao trembled, as if they had been struck by lightning. Do you mean that the young master is the sky pride of the Jun family? The horned youth felt his scalp go numb. They thought it was a joke, but now, combined with Jun Xiaoyao's performance, there was no doubt that he was the ruthless person who had killed the fallen feather holy son and made the entire fallen feather tribe silent. Beanbox after realizing this, these living beings were all petrified. They couldn't calm down for a long time. On the other side, Jun Xiaoyao followed Long Huan to a deep palace. There were many arrays and restrictions around it, so outsiders couldn't enter. Jun Xiaoyao glanced at the palace. It was obviously Long Huan's private bedroom. Long Huan walked straight in, and Jun Xiaoyao entered without any hesitation. However, as soon as he stepped into the palace, Long Huan attacked Jun Xiaoyao. Her cultivation at the consummate level of the divine fire stage burst out. She waved her hand, and blood-red Azura Qi burst out. As the 9th princess of the Azura demonic kingdom, Long Huan cultivated a supreme technique, the Azura demonic mantra. The moment she made a move, it revealed Long Huan's extraordinary cultivation. Compared to the sky prides of the Huangtian mystic realm, she stood in the top echelon. However, facing Long Huan's attack, Jun Xiaoyao didn't even move a finger. The Azura Qi, which was enough to tear an ordinary sky pride of the divine fire stage to shreds, disappeared as it approached Jun Xiaoyao. It was as if it had never appeared. A look of surprise flashed in Long Huan's eyes, but she wasn't too surprised. It really is you, young Master Jun. Long Huan's face revealed a charming smile. She had more or less guessed it before. It was just that the death aura on Jun Xiaoyao's body made her a little puzzled, so she tested him now. After this test, it was just as the rumors said. Jun Xiaoyao had a special magical immunity ability. Although it wasn't absolute immunity, it was enough to surprise people. No need to test me. I am Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao didn't bother to hide anything and said directly, TSK, TSK, I thought the rumors were false. Now it seems that young Master Jun is more powerful than I imagined, and also more handsome. Long Huan's beautiful eyes bloomed. In terms of strength, Jun Xiaoyao had never tasted defeat in the burial ground. In terms of appearance, he could be called peerless in the mystic realm, let alone in the burial ground. In terms of background, forces like the fallen winged race, which was not much weaker than the Azure demonic kingdom, could only admit defeat in front of Jun Xiaoyao. It was impossible for Long Huan not to be tempted. Moreover, Jun Xiaoyao's appearance was just right for her. His body was slender and well-proportioned. He didn't have explosive muscles, but he gave off an incomparably perfect and harmonious feeling. His skin was like immortal jade, flowing with light. It simply made Long Huan, a woman, jealous. Young Master Jun, this princess has taken a fancy to you. You don't need to be my holy guard. How about being my man? Long Huan's tone was very straightforward. Long Huan didn't know how long she had waited to meet such a handsome little puppy. She naturally didn't want to miss out. Moreover, in terms of status, the Azura demonic kingdom's foundation was comparable to an immortal force. She was also considered the princess of an immortal force. In the eternal burial ground, she could control the sky with one hand. Her status was definitely not low. When Jun Xiaoyao heard this, his expression didn't change. Long Huan, I think you seem to have misunderstood something, Jun Xiaoyao said. Oh, young Master Jun, are you unwilling? This princess doesn't think I'm that bad, right? Long Huan was a little surprised. Those stinky men who usually chased after her couldn't even make her look at them. She took the initiative to ask this time, but Jun Xiaoyao was unwilling. She had fair skin, beautiful features, and long legs. Not only was she a stunner, but she also lived well. Which part of her wasn't attractive? Chapter 339. Jun Xiaoyao came here to get Lang Huan to bring him to the Ten Kings banquet and learn more about the burial realm. He had never thought that anything inappropriate would happen between him and Lang Huan. Lang Huan was beautiful, but unfortunately, in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes, she was just so and not bad. Jun Xiaoyao's taste was even more picky than Lang Huan's. It was not something that these bootlickers of the burial realm could compare to. Hearing this, no matter how much Lang Huan liked Jun Xiaoyao, her face could not help but reveal a trace of coldness. She was the high and mighty ninth princess of the Devil Kingdom. Even if Jun Xiaoyao was the son of God of the Jun family of the ancients, he could not just open his mouth and say that he wanted to take her in as a maidservant, right? Young Master Jun, aren't you going a little overboard? I've already offered myself, but you're still so unromantic, Lang Huan said. So what if I'm unromantic? Jun Xiaoyao said calmly. Then I can only force myself on you. Lang Huan said and attacked again. If the soft approach did not work, she could only use the hard approach. She directly pushed Jun Xiaoyao down by force. You want to force yourself on me? Even Jun Xiaoyao was slightly stunned. Was it so dangerous for boys to be outside? Lang Huan activated the Azura demonic art. Azura murderous aura surged out, transforming into a demonic shadow that suppressed Jun Xiaoyao. Although Jun Xiaoyao's strength was rumored to be godly and he had never tasted defeat in the burial realm, Lang Huan was not someone to be trifled with. At least, if the Fallen Feather Holy Sun were to fight with her, the Fallen Feather Holy Sun would also be easily defeated by Lang Huan. After all, Lang Huan was ranked second among the 10 little kings, second only to the ancient overlord body of the Nether King Palace, Chu Tianba. Jun Xiaoyao made his move as well after seeing Lang Huan making her move. The only thing to do to such a self-centered woman was to wake her up. Jun Xiaoyao did not use any fancy moves, directly suppressing with one hand. Divine power surged, and his blood qi shocked the world. Lang Huan's move was once again neutralized by dermic power immunity, and Jun Xiaoyao's hand was already suppressing Lang Huan. Lang Xian's delicate figure twisted as she pushed her strength at the consummate level of the divine fire realm to the limit. Azura demonic art, 10,000 ghosts cry. As the Azura demon kingdom's supreme art, there was no need to doubt the might of the Azura demon art. Once it was displayed, it was like the gates of hell had opened and countless resentful spirits rushed out. If it weren't for the fact that there was a formation and restriction underneath the palace, this move alone would have been enough to flatten everything within a radius of 100 miles. However, in front of Jun Xiaoyao, Lang Huan's attacks were as weak as paper, easily torn apart. Lang Huan's move was broken by Jun Xiaoyao with one hand. Then, Jun Xiaoyao's other hand gripped Lang Huan's slender neck. You? Lang Xian's face was filled with shock. His brain was unable to react. With just one move, Jun Xiaoyao had suppressed her. Although Lang Huan did not display her true trump card, this move was enough to deal with the other monarchs. However, now that he was facing Jun Xiaoyao, he couldn't pose any threat to him at all. At this moment, a shout came from outside the hall. Let go of the princess. It was Qin Xiener. When she saw her princess being choked by Jun Xiaoyao, her head buzzed. Without the slightest hesitation, Qin Xiener rushed over. Jun Xiaoyao stomped his foot, and a wave of magic power spread out. With a puff, Qin Xiener spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. Xiener, don't attack, Lang Huan said. Even she wasn't a match for Jun Xiaoyao. How could Qin Xiener defeat him? Although this was the Azura Demon Kingdom's imperial capital. But in this palace, other than her, only Qin Xiener could enter. The others would never come close to Lang Huan's palace. Therefore, the palace guards outside naturally didn't know what was going on inside. Room 168. However, Lang Huan didn't send a message to the Azura Demon Kingdom's experts to save her, because she knew that she was still useful to Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao couldn't kill her. Young Master Jun, you're so powerful. You hurt me, Lang Huan said coquettishly. Do you think that I won't dare to attack you in the Azure Demon Kingdom's imperial palace? As if seeing through Lang Huan's thoughts, Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. It was a very handsome smile, but in Lang Huan's eyes, it was like a devil's smile. She had always been good at strategizing and reading people's minds, but when facing Jun Xiaoyao, she couldn't tell if he was joking or telling the truth. Young Master Jun, can you let go first? Lang Huan won't dare to act recklessly. Lang Huan finally took a step back. She was really afraid that Jun Xiaoyao would really attack her. After all, Jun Xiaoyao was someone who didn't have any scruples. He killed the fallen feather saint without hesitation. And Jun Xiaoyao also killed Long Kuan of the Corpse Dragon clan. If it were Lang Huan, she would have to think twice before killing Long Kuan. After all, the Corpse Dragon clan's foundation wasn't any weaker than the Azure Demon Kingdom's. Jun Xiaoyao let go and said, "Do you know about the 9 Wonders reincarnation in mortal grass?" Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's words, Lang Huan raised her eyebrows and said, "Did young Master Jun enter the burial ground to find this kind of top-grade immortal grass?" Don't ask about anything else. I just want to know if you know where to find it." Jun Xiaoyao said. Lang Huan thought for a moment and said, "The 9 Wonders reincarnation immortal grass is rarely found in the burial ground 10 regions. Even if one appears occasionally, it will be immediately found by great figures." Jun Xiaoyao frowned slightly when he heard that, but he still said, "Are you forgetting something?" "Where?" Lang Huan said. "The burial ground." Jun Xiaoyao's eyes narrowed. A light flashed in the depths of Lang Huan's beautiful eyes. As expected, Jun Xiaoyao came for the burial ground. "Young Master Jun, the burial ground is an opportunity for us burial ground beings. If you enter, it will inevitably attract the displeasure of the other kings." Jun Xiaoyao was so powerful. If he entered the burial ground, then how could the others obtain the opportunity? Jun Xiaoyao couldn't help but laugh at Lang Huan's words. "What does the displeasure of others have to do with me? I'll just suppress them all when the time comes," Jun Xiaoyao said. Although he entered the eternal burial ground alone, he had 2 great clan of the ancients standing behind him. Moreover, it seemed that the Jun family had caused a huge commotion in the burial ground. Jun Xiaoyao believed that the experts of the burial ground wouldn't dare to bully the weak and provoke him. Of course, if they really wanted to provoke him, Jun Xiaoyao wasn't afraid. Not only did he have the life-saving item given to him by the 18th ancestor, but Zhang Daoshu also gave him many protective items. Jun Xiaoyao indeed had the confidence. Lang Huan also didn't know what to say. It seemed that she had no other choice but to agree. What she was afraid of was not only Jun Xiaoyao himself, but also the power behind him. Moreover, Lang Huan seemed to have heard that there was a commotion from the Jun family in the burial ground. With such a background and power, Lang Huan didn't want to be enemies with Jun Xiaoyao. Moreover, Jun Xiaoyao was so much to her liking. All right then, Lang Huan is willing to go to the 10 Kings banquet with young Master Jun. However, how will young Master Jun repay this princess? Lang Huan stared at Jun Xiaoyao with fiery eyes. That gaze was as if she wanted to swallow Jun Xiaoyao into her stomach. However, to a certain extent, Lang Huan did indeed want to swallow some parts of Jun Xiaoyao into her stomach. Seeing that Lang Huan agreed, Jun Xiaoyao temporarily withdrew his hostility. As for whether he took Lang Huan as a maid, it wasn't that important to Jun Xiaoyao. At this moment, the system's voice sounded in Jun Xiaoyao's mind. Chapter 340. Is there a sign in mission? Jun Xiaoyao murmured in his heart. He didn't find it surprising. On the contrary, it was within his expectations. "Young Master Jun, if you don't mind, you can stay in my palace for the time being. When the Feast of the 10 Kings begins, we can go together," Lang Huan said. Her address had changed from this princess to this slave. From this, it could be seen that Jun Xiaoyao's strength had indeed conquered Lang Huan. If Jun Xiaoyao only had looks, then Lang Huan might only see him as a pet, a gigolo or something like that. But Jun Xiaoyao's looks were on par with his strength. Lang Huan was finally convinced. "Sure." Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao agree so readily, Lang Huan's beautiful eyes flashed with a mischievous smile. Little puppy, living in this princess's palace. how can you escape from this princess's palm? Lang Huan said proudly in her heart. In terms of strength, she was indeed no match for Jun Xiaoyao. But she was a woman. To men, women were the most lethal weapons. She didn't believe that Jun Xiaoyao could withstand her charm. Now, the reason why Jun Xiaoyao refused, in Lang Huan's opinion, might be because of face. He didn't want to fall into her hands. Men are all old perverts. This princess doesn't believe that you are a gentleman. Lang Huan thought, as long as they lived together, would there be no chance? Lang Huan had already begun to fantasize about galloping on Jun Xiaoyao's body. On the side, Qin Xian'er saw this scene, and her pretty face dimmed slightly. But at the same time, Qin Xian'er was happy that Lang Huan was able to find the man she liked. As for the group of bootlickers outside the palace, they were all heartbroken and had lost the meaning of life. Their bodies were like dead wood, and their hearts were like dead ashes. This was the most appropriate description. So men must never be bootlickers. Maybe when you're licking the goddess is thinking of ways to lick other men. No, I can't accept this reality. How could Princess Lang Huan like that gigolo? But who is that gigolo? How could he be so strong? Outside the palace, many voices of discussion were heard. In the end, the group of living beings that had come with Jun Xiaoyao let slip and revealed Jun Xiaoyao's identity. This time, it was as if a pot had exploded, setting off a monstrous uproar. What? That pretty boy is the genius of the Jun family, who killed the fallen Feather Saint in the Dark Nether Realm? No wonder. Now that I think about it, it makes sense. Other than him, who else would dare to casually kill Long Kuan of the Corpse Dragon clan? But isn't his aura the death aura of us burial earth creatures? It's not like this kind of aura can't be imitated. With the capabilities of the Jun family's genius, they might have a way. As the truth was revealed, the entire Azura demon kingdom went into an uproar. The geniuses of the burial ground did not expect that the gigolo was the legendary genius of the Jun family. When they thought about how they had once provoked the Jun family's genius, many of the creatures in the burial ground felt a lingering fear. If Jun Xiaoyao wanted to kill them, none of them would be able to survive. However, they soon discovered that Jun Xiaoyao did not return. In other words, Jun Xiaoyao did not come out after being brought into the private palace by Lang Huan. Everyone knew what this meant. How could things develop so quickly? No, I don't believe it. How could my goddess be taken by a foreign genius? Shame. This is the shame of us burial ground men. Many of the bootlickers were shouting, unwilling to accept this bloody reality. They, the geniuses of the burial ground, had pursued Lang Huan for so long, but in the end, Lang Huan was disdainful of them. Now, she favored a foreign genius and was even willing to take the initiative to lick his boots. The gap was so huge that they were unwilling to believe it. One of the most beautiful women in the burial ground had been taken by a foreign genius. For the geniuses of the burial ground, this was like a bolt from the blue. This news also began to spread from the Azura Demon Kingdom's imperial capital. As Lang Huan was very famous in the Eternal Burial Ground, the news spread very quickly. Soon, almost everyone in the 10 regions of the burial ground knew about it. On a white bone mountain in the Dragon Skeleton region, a man with dragon horns on his head and white bone wings on his back had an extremely cold and murderous look on his face. That Jun family genius is simply courting death. How dare he kill a member of the Corpse Dragon tribe? This man's name was Long Xiang. He was the strongest genius of the Corpse Dragon tribe and one of the 10 minor kings. Moreover, his strength was ranked in the top 5 among the 10 minor kings. He was far from what the fallen Feather Saint could compare to. Jun Xiaoyao had no qualms about killing Long Kuan right in front of everyone. This was tantamount to provocation and contempt for the Corpse Dragon tribe. Long Xiang's eyes were cold, and his murderous look changed the color of heaven and earth. I hope he can come to the 10 Kings banquet. I will personally take back Long Kuan's debt. Long Xiang's aura erupted, and the aura of death surged. The shadow of a white-boned dragon vaguely formed behind him. Long Xiang was not the only one who received the news. The other kings who were preparing to attend the banquet also received the news. In a swamp filled with a rotten aura of death, there was a man with a human body and a snake tail. After hearing the news, he hissed angrily to the sky. How could this be? How could Lang Huan be taken by another man? No, Lang Huan is mine. The man with a human body and a snake tail covered his head with both hands and hissed unwillingly. He was the genius of the sky-devouring demonic python tribe. His name was Mo Ling, and he was one of the 10 minor kings. He was also a loyal admirer of Lang Huan. Snakes were lustful by nature. Mo Ling naturally had crazy feelings for Lang Huan, but Lang Huan had always kept a respectful distance from him. Mo Ling wanted to use this 10 kings banquet to completely conquer Lang Huan and make her his woman. He did not expect that she would be taken by someone else first. What Mo Ling could not accept the most was that Lang Huan was the one who took the initiative to be taken by someone else. This drove Mo Ling crazy. He was about to go crazy. Jun family genius, I want you dead. Mo Ling's eyes were filled with unprecedented ferocity. On top of a purple mountain, there was a creature, and its whole body was filled with a murderous aura. The creature's head was shaped like a wolf's head, and there was a pair of huge gray bull horns on its head. Its body was covered with pitch-black scales, and there was blood-red hair growing between the scales. Behind the creature, there were 9 tails, and behind each tail was the head of a ferocious beast. It looked extremely ferocious. If Jun Xiaoyao was here, he would definitely be surprised. This creature was very similar to the legendary primordial ferocious beast, the 9 nether python. This creature that looked like the 9 nether python was also one of the 10 minor kings, and its combat power was quite strong. The flesh and blood of the Jun family genius should be delicious. The creature murmured, and its eyes were filled with ferocity. Chapter 341. What happened in the Shurid Demon Kingdom's imperial capital spread like wildfire in the eternal graveyard. Jun Xiaoyao not only made some of the 10 minor kings dissatisfied, but he also aroused the disgust of many creatures in the graveyard. There weren't many beauties in the eternal graveyard, and there were only a few of them, and Jun Xiaoyao even took one of them. This made the creatures in the graveyard indignant. The Jun family's genius will definitely attend the 10 Kings feast. Let's see how he embarrasses himself then. That's right, we may not be able to deal with him, but someone among the 10 minor kings will be able to. That's right, Long Xiong of the Corpse Dragon clan, Mo Ling of the Sky-Devouring Demonic Python clan, and the 9 Nether AO are all much stronger than the fallen Feather Saint, not to mention the ancient tyrant body of the Nether King Palace. No matter how strong the Jun family's genius is, can he defeat all the geniuses in the 10 regions of the graveyard? They knew that Jun Xiaoyao was indeed very strong. He might even be able to defeat a few of the 10 minor kings. But if he said that he could defeat all the geniuses, it was a bit of a fantasy. No one would believe it. The creatures in the graveyard began to look forward to the day of the 10 Kings feast. Jun Xiaoyao, who was in the eye of the storm, was isolated from the noise of the outside world. He stayed in Lang Huan's private palace and was incomparably comfortable. And Lang Huan didn't give up. She would often flirt in front of Jun Xiaoyao to show off her charm. Sometimes, she would even go overboard. She would only wear underwear and walk around in front of Jun Xiaoyao as if nothing had happened. Her snow-white shoulders and long legs swayed in front of Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. He had to admit that Lang Huan was very charming. If it were other men, they would definitely find it difficult to resist. Who could resist this? However, Jun Xiaoyao was able to withstand it. It wasn't because he was cold, but because he had seen too many beauties and had enough immunity. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao sitting there like an old monk, even Lang Huan couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. She then asked, "Young Master Jun, are you still a man? You're not having problems with that, are you?" Jun Xiaoyao's expression froze. Was this some sort of provocation? "My strengths and weaknesses are beyond your imagination," Jun Xiaoyao said calmly. "Come on then, let me experience it." Lang Huan's eyes flickered with a flirtatious light. She could sense that Jun Xiaoyao's body contained an exuberant qi and blood, persisting for 3 days and 3 nights. This should be an underestimation. It could even take 3 months. Wouldn't I be cheap if I were to let any woman get it? Jun Xiaoyao ignored her. He was not a stud horse. A stud horse was too cheap. This was also the reason why Jun Xiaoyao had remained a virgin until now. He was not an existence that any woman could easily obtain. Oomph. Lang Huan ground her teeth in shame and helplessness. She had already recommended herself to be his pillow, but Jun Xiaoyao still didn't know what was good for him. After being snubbed, Lang Huan was finally tactful and didn't continue to do those futile things. As time went by, the date of the 10 Kings banquet was approaching. In Lang Huan's private bedroom, there was a steaming bath. Jun Xiaoyao was half naked in the bath with a relaxed expression on his face. Behind him, Qin Xianer, dressed in white, was scrubbing his back. That was naturally Lang Huan's order, telling her to serve Jun Xiaoyao well. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao's relaxed expression, Qin Xianer shook her head slightly. He probably didn't know that a great storm had been set off in the outside world because of him. Long Xiang of the Corpse Dragon clan, Mo Ling of the Sky-Devouring Demonic Python clan, Nine Serenities AO, and other young experts had already announced that they would suppress Jun Xiaoyao at the 10 Kings banquet. The 10 Kings banquet was approaching, but Jun Xiaoyao was still so relaxed. Qin Xianer really couldn't understand. I think you'd better not attend the 10 Kings banquet, Qin Xianer said as she scrubbed Jun Xiaoyao's back. Oh, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent. The Corpse Dragon clan, Sky-Devouring Demonic Python clan, Nine Serenities AO clan, and others will definitely attack you. You can't deal with all the kings, Qin Xianer said. Jun Xiaoyao didn't say anything. How could Qin Xianer understand what he could do? However, he still said, "Why are you so concerned about whether I'll be in danger?" Hearing this, Qin Xianer's expression froze, and then she said, "I'm afraid that you'll implicate the princess and implicate her." You care a lot about Lang Huan? Jun Xiaoyao's gaze was profound. Qin Xianer blushed and remained silent. After a long while, she said faintly, "I can see that the princess likes you a lot. It's the first time she's met someone she likes so much. If you encounter any danger at the 10 Kings banquet, she won't sit back and watch." Hearing Qin Xianer's words, Jun Xiaoyao shook his head with a smile and said, "Lang Huan doesn't like me. She's just lusting after my body." Many people confused liking with lusting after his body. "That's the same," Qin Xianer said with a hint of bitterness in her tone. "Don't worry, I won't stay in the burial ground for too long," Jun Xiaoyao said. After attending the 10 Kings banquet, Jun Xiaoyao would think of a way to go to the burial ground to find the 9 Wonders Reincarnation Immortal Grass and learn about the past 10 years. When it was about time, Jun Xiaoyao should also leave. After all, the immortal ancient world was about to open, and Jun Xiaoyao didn't want to be one step behind others. Jun Xiaoyao's words made Qin Xianer feel a little more at ease. She also knew that Jun Xiaoyao had seen her special feelings for Lang Huan, which was why he said such comforting words. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao's handsome side profile with his eyes closed, even Qin Xianer couldn't help but feel her heart skip a beat. She also understood why Lang Huan liked Jun Xiaoyao. If she didn't like Lang Huan first, she might also be moved by Jun Xiaoyao. About 7 or 8 days later, the day of the 10 Kings banquet finally arrived. On this day, an incomparably luxurious and gorgeous ship stopped in the sky outside the Azurid Demon Kingdom's imperial palace. It was Lang Huan's carriage. Outside, countless creatures were watching. They all wanted to know what the relationship between Jun Xiaoyao and Lang Huan was. Was Jun Xiaoyao still just Lang Huan's holy guard? 3 figures stepped out from the depths of the palace. Jun Xiaoyao was in the lead, and Lang Huan, who was originally the center of attention, was following beside him like a maid. The way she looked at Jun Xiaoyao was still filled with a hint of resentment like that of a little girl. It was as if she was a little wife who had been neglected by her husband. Seeing this scene, the bootlickers who still had a glimmer of hope felt their hearts bleeding in despair. Jun Xiaoyao didn't care and stepped straight into the ship. Lang Huan and Qin Xianer followed closely behind. The ship also swept across the sky toward the location of the 10 Kings banquet. Looking at the ship in the distance, Many male geniuses of the burial ground beat their chests and stomped their feet, cursing and roaring. The June family's genius dares to participate in the Ten Kings banquet so openly. He will definitely not have a good ending. That's right. Let's hurry up and see how the other kings teach this personal lesson. That's right. I won't be satisfied until I see the June family's genius suffer. The group of creatures cried out loudly, following behind him, heading out together. One could imagine that this Ten Kings banquet would probably be the most lively one. Of course, it would also be the most unpredictable one. Chapter 342. The Feast of the Ten Kings was held at the soul-burying mountain in the heavenly nether region of the 10 regions of eternal burial earth. The heavenly nether region was the region closest to the burial grounds. The ruling faction of the heavenly nether region was the famous Nether King Palace. The palace master of the Nether King Palace, Nether Burial Emperor, was the ruler of the heavenly nether region and one of the top powerhouses in the eternal burial grounds. Among the 10 rulers of the burial grounds, his fame and strength were second only to the ghost-masked burial emperor of the Sinluo region. Today, the Burying Soul Mountain was extremely lively. The pitch-black mountain range stretched into the distance. Thick death auras swirled around the Burying Soul Mountain. Countless living beings of the burial earth gathered from the 10 regions. The 10 Kings Feast was a grand gathering of the burial grounds. All the old and new people gathered together. The scene was very lively. In the past, the 10 Kings Feast was mainly held for the 10 minor kings and their followers to exchange pointers. The major factions would take out some prizes as rewards. However, the 10 Kings Feast this time was different. It was not just about exchanging pointers. Hey, have you heard that there seems to be a crack in the depths of the burial grounds? Yeah, more than 10 years ago, the burial grounds was completely sealed after the Great Storm. I didn't expect a crack to appear. However, I heard that the crack is extremely unstable. Only a few beings can enter, and their cultivation can't be too high. Otherwise, they won't be able to enter at all. It seems that the 10 Kings Feast this time is related to the number of people who can enter, right? Some of the burial grounds beings were whispering to each other. What kind of place was the burial grounds? It was an absolute land of opportunity. Since ancient times, countless powerhouses have been buried there. There were all kinds of cultivation techniques, divine weapons, treasures, and inheritances. There was even a legend that in the outermost region of the burial grounds, one could dig out an inheritance tomb by walking a few steps and digging into the ground. Of course, this was a bit exaggerated, but it could be seen that the burial grounds was a land of great opportunity. However, more than 10 years ago, the burial grounds was sealed after the Great Storm. Other than the burial emperors who could communicate with the great terror in the depths of the burial grounds, the rest of the burial grounds beings could not enter at all. The crack in the burial ground was a great opportunity for the 10 minor kings and the other geniuses. In addition to this news, the other thing that everyone was most concerned about was naturally Jun Xiaoyao. I heard that the 9th princess of the Devil Kingdom, Long Huan, was conquered by the genius of the Jun family. Yeah, I heard that they're sleeping together. Hateful. This is the shame of my burial earth's male creatures. Such a beauty was actually obtained by someone from the outside world. It doesn't matter. Since the genius of the Jun family dared to attend the banquet, he must have been prepared to lose face. Many of the prodigies of the burial ground were enraged. Of course, this was only a portion of the extreme bootlickers. Most of the living beings in the burial earth were hostile to Jun Xiaoyao because he was not one of their kind. On the other hand, the female creatures of the burial earth were speaking up for Jun Xiaoyao. You guys are so jealous. It's obvious that you don't have the ability to conquer the 9th princess, but you insist that it's someone else's fault. That's right. If you have the guts, go and fight with young Master Jun. If you can beat him, I'll marry you. Some of the girls of the burial earth mocked. These rebuttals made the creatures of the burial earth speechless. They were embarrassed and angry, unable to say anything. Suddenly, a dragon's roar was heard from afar. A bone dragon burning with dark green flames flapped its wings and flew over. A group of creatures stood on top of it. One of them was Long Xiang. The genius of the corpse dragon clan, Long Xiang, is here. Some people shouted with fanaticism in their eyes. Long Xiang was definitely one of the strongest geniuses in the 10 regions of the burial earth. A moment later, a pitch-black python slithered over from another direction. Its body was so large that it was like a winding mountain ridge. A group of creatures with human bodies and snake tails stood on top of it. It was the sky-devouring demonic python clan. The genius of the sky-devouring demonic python clan, Mo Ling, was among them. Mo Ling of the sky-devouring demonic python clan is here. He is the loyal admirer of the 9th princess. This is going to be a good show. Although Long Xiang and Mo Ling had never met Jun Xiaoyao before, they already had a grudge against him. Long Kuan was killed by Jun Xiaoyao. As for Long Huan's love for Jun Xiaoyao, it was obvious that Mo Ling was unlucky as well. However, they were not the only ones who came. With a roar, the 9 Serenities AO appeared. The 9 Serenities AO's head was shaped like a wolf. It had a pair of huge gray horns on its head. Its body was covered with black scales, and blood-red hair grew between the scales. It also had 9 tails on its back. Behind each tail, there was a ferocious beast head. It was extremely ferocious. Seeing this ferocious beast, many creatures of the burial earth were fearful. Although this 9 Serenities AO was not a pure-blooded beast, it was still extremely ferocious. It was ranked in the top 3 among the 10 minor kings, and could even spar with the ancient tyrant body. As time passed, more and more kings appeared. The genius of the 8-armed spider demon clan appeared. He had 8 arms, which was very strange. The king of the corpse refining sect appeared. He wore a black cloak and carried a coffin with him. Everyone was afraid of him. The king of the blood fiend clan appeared. It was said that this clan was transformed from a drop of demonic blood. In short, the 10 minor kings appeared one after another, pushing the feast to its climax. Finally, a luxurious ship appeared in the distant sky. Seeing this ship, the entire Burial Soul Mountain was silent at first. Then, a shocking uproar broke out. It's the 9th princess ship. She's here. The genius of the Jun family should be on it too. At this moment, everyone was watching. Under everyone's attention, 3 figures walked out of the ship. They were Jun Xiaoyao, Lang Huan, and Qin Xianer. It's true. When they saw the 3 of them walk out of the side room of the ship, many creatures were stunned. The rumors were true. The high and mighty 9th princess of the Devil Kingdom had been completely conquered by the genius of the Jun family. In an instant, all kinds of hostile gazes pierced Jun Xiaoyao like needles. Mo Ling of the sky-devouring demonic python clan felt like he had been cuckolded in front of everyone, although there was no relationship between him and Lang Huan. Looking at the excited creatures of the burial ground, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was as calm as still water. He said lightly, "You are indeed a femme fatale. I didn't expect you to be so popular in the burial ground." Hearing this, Lang Huan rolled her eyes at Jun Xiaoyao charmingly and said, "Humph, only young Master Jun could heartlessly reject me. The others can't even touch a finger of mine. That's because they're all simps, and I am human." Jun Xiaoyao did not comment. In the eyes of outsiders, this interaction was tantamount to flirting. You're just a human from the outside world. What right do you have to stand beside Lang Huan? Finally, Mo Ling could not help but stand up and shout coldly. His snake eyes were so red that they looked like they were dripping blood. Jun Xiaoyao looked indifferently and saw Mo Ling's snake tail. He said, "So it's a shameless snake. Lang Huan, does this kind of creature have the right to pursue you?" Hearing this, Lang Huan was a little annoyed. She hated Mo Ling very much. She would only have goosebumps when faced with this kind of snake person. "Young Master Jun, can you help me get rid of this shameless snake?" Lang Huan leaned forward, her delicate body and the curves of Ling Long tightly pressed against Jun Xiaoyao's side. She said in an intimate and coquettish tone. Seeing this scene, Mo Ling exploded. Chapter 343. He still had hope previously, thinking that it might be Jun Xiaoyao who conquered Lang Huan with force. Now it seemed that it was indeed Lang Huan who wanted to stick to Jun Xiaoyao. He chased after Lang Huan bitterly for a long time and did not even touch a finger of hers. But now, Lang Huan took the initiative to stick to another man. Anyone would not be able to take it. Their mentality was about to explode. Human outside, you're courting death. Mo Ling could not hold back and wanted to take action personally. Wait, Jun Xiaoyao said. What? Now you know fear. Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's words, Mo Ling's face turned cold. Some of the surrounding burial earth living beings also looked at Jun Xiaoyao suspiciously. Could it be that this fearless lord was afraid now? Jun Xiaoyao did not care. Instead, he turned his head and asked Lang Huan, if I win at the 10 Kings banquet, I can enter the burial earth. Yes, in this 10 Kings banquet, those who rank at the top can enter the burial earth first. Because that spatial rift is very small and unstable, there are few spots to begin with, Lang Huan said. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. This way it was simple. It was enough to sweep through all enemies and then enter the burial earth. He looked at Mo Ling and said indifferently, it's too easy to deal with you alone, and it's a waste of time. Jun Xiaoyao's words caused Mo Ling's snake eyes to shoot out a cold light. However, before he could refute, Jun Xiaoyao's following words made all the burial earth living beings in the entire burial earth mountain dumbfounded. Today I, the Son of God, am here to challenge 10 little kings alone. All of you, come on up. Jun Xiaoyao flicked his sleeves, his bearing extraordinary. The aura of a perfected divine fire realm surged out wildly. His surging blood chi was no longer concealed and burst out directly. It was as if a divine king had come out of seclusion, as if an ancient god had descended to the world. Many young burial earth living beings with weaker cultivation were directly shaken to the ground, their faces as pale as paper. Jun Xiaoyao's aura at this moment was too fierce, like a primordial divine elephant, shaking heaven and earth and falling stars with a roar. You, Mo Ling, Long Xiang, Nine Nether Ao, and the rest of the 10 little kings wore cold expressions. What were the 10 little kings? They were the most outstanding geniuses of the 10 regions of eternal burial earth. On the other hand, Jun Xiaoyao was just an outsider, yet he dared to speak so arrogantly and challenge all of them by himself. This was no longer arrogance, but naked contempt. Jun Xiaoyao regarded them as ants and did not put them in his eyes at all. All the prodigies of the burial ground were dumbfounded. Only Lang Huan was very attentive. She noticed Jun Xiaoyao's way of addressing himself. He calls himself the Son of God. It seems that he is not only a genius of the Jun family, but also the most important son of God. Lang Huan understood what the Son of God represented. The Son of God was a core figure even in a family of the remote antiquity with a strong foundation. Jun Xiaoyao's status was much nobler than she had imagined. Unfortunately, this little fresh meat can only be seen but not eaten. Lang Huan was a little annoyed. At first, she thought that her identity as the 9th princess of the demonic kingdom was more than enough to match Jun Xiaoyao. Now it seemed that she was really climbing up the social ladder. Human outside, you are too presumptuous. This is the burial ground, not a place for you to be arrogant. The king of the 8-armed spider demons spoke. His body was pitch black, and he had 4 pairs of eyes on his face and 8 arms on his body. Rather than calling him a humanoid creature, he was more like a humanoid monster. However, his aura was very powerful, and his cultivation was at the lesser perfection of the divine fire realm. However, with the 8-armed spider demon's racial talent, his strength was comparable to a prodigy at the greater perfection of the divine fire realm. Die! The 8-armed spider demon attacked. He opened his mouth and spat out a silver thread that wrapped around Jun Xiaoyao. At the same time, his 8 arms struck out together. Black murderous aura surged and formed a seal. This was one of the 8-armed spider demon's great abilities, the 8-spider demonic seal. The silver thread wrapped around Jun Xiaoyao, but Jun Xiaoyao stood still. Is he stupid? The 8-armed spider demon prodigy had just revealed a smile when he saw something shocking. The silver thread he spat out disappeared into the void. At the same time, Jun Xiaoyao moved and took the initiative to flash toward the eight-armed spider demon prodigy. In the next moment, the eight-armed spider demon prodigy was even more shocked. His 8 spider demonic seal had completely disappeared, as if it had been dissolved by an invisible force. How is this possible? You! The 8-armed spider demon prodigy's expression was full of shock. Although he had heard before that Jun Xiaoyao had some sort of mystical immunity to magical powers, he knew that Jun Xiaoyao possessed a mystical immunity ability. However, he had thought that it was some kind of magical ability. In the end, he didn't expect it to be so strange. He didn't even have to take the initiative to use it, and it could directly dissolve all dermic powers. This was too strange, too unexpected. Before the 8-armed spider demon prodigy could recover from his shock, the 8-armed spider demon prodigy said. Jun Xiaoyao's palm strike was already coming down on him. There was no magical ability or dermic power. It was just a simple palm strike, but it carried 10 billion pounds of physical strength and bombarded the chest of the 8-armed spider demon prodigy. The 8-armed spider demon prodigy hurriedly resisted. 8 sharp and sturdy spears broke out of his spine and protected in front of him. This was the 8-armed spider demon prodigy's innate ability, the 8 spider divine spear. The result was crack. The 8 spider divine spear was directly shattered by the palm strike. Jun Xiaoyao's palm strike didn't lose its momentum and heavily bombarded the chest of the 8-armed spider demon prodigy. Then there was a loud bang. The sky was filled with blood mist. The 8-armed spider demon prodigy had died. The entire burying soul mountain was so quiet that even a pin drop could be heard. All the creatures in the burial ground who were watching the battle widened their eyes and felt their scalps tingle. It was as if their heads were about to explode. One of the 10 minor kings was killed in seconds, just like that. All the creatures felt like they were in a dream. It was too unreal. He was the strongest prodigy in a region with extraordinary strength. He stood out from millions of young prodigies and became one of the 10 minor kings. But now, he couldn't even withstand one strike from Jun Xiaoyao. This kind of decisive instant kill was too shocking. It made people feel them all over. Some of the 8-armed spider demon prodigies who came to watch the battle were stunned at first. Then endless anger surged. They couldn't help but want to attack. However, he was met with Jun Xiaoyao's frosty eyes. In an instant, it was as if a basin of cold water had been poured on them. The 8-armed spider demon prodigies instantly woke up. They remembered that Jun Xiaoyao still had 3 terrifying supreme saint puppets, the god-slaying dolls. If Jun Xiaoyao used them, they wouldn't be able to deal with Jun Xiaoyao unless they asked for help from the sacred lords. Thinking of this, the 8-armed spider demon prodigies held back and didn't attack. As for Mo Ling, his face also froze. Although his strength was slightly stronger than the 8-armed spider demon prodigy, it was really only by a little. If Jun Xiaoyao could kill the 8-armed spider demon prodigy with one strike, it probably wouldn't take more than 2 to 3 strikes to deal with him. Why? Are you still going to challenge this son of God alone? Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently with his hands behind his back. Mo Ling's face was as ugly as if he had eaten **T. Jun Xiaoyao was like sprinkling salt on his wound. I don't believe it. Long Xiang of the corpse dragon race snorted coldly. He had decided to attack. Chapter 344. How could they allow an outsider to kill the 10 minor kings of the burial ground? Long Xiang could not stand it. Moreover, Jun Xiaoyao had killed Long Kuan before, so he had a grudge against the corpse dragon tribe. Long Xiang attacked. He knew that Jun Xiaoyao had a strange and powerful physical body. Even the physical body of a dragon tribe member was nothing in front of him. Therefore, Long Xiang did not choose to fight in close combat. Instead, he used the corpse dragon tribe's grand mystique. Divine Skeleton Mountain. As soon as Long Xiang said that, the death aura around him rose along with the dragon aura. The shadow of a white-boned dragon appeared and coiled in the void. It turned into a white bone mountain with great power, as if it could suppress everything. This was the Bone Dao grand mystique of the corpse dragon tribe. It was extremely powerful, and it had the power to shatter mountains and rivers. It pressed down on Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao looked calm when he saw that. He activated the strength of the hell-crushing divine elephant to the extreme. His blood energy surged and rose into the void, turning into a golden divine elephant that could suppress the universe. Awesome literature website The Golden Divine Elephant and the White Bone Mountain collided in the void. It was as if tens of thousands of stars had exploded. Terrifying waves of magic power raged in all directions, and the entire burying soul mountain trembled. In such an extreme collision, the White Bone Mountain was directly smashed into pieces. Jun Xiaoyao took out the man-ruler seal and slammed it out. It was as if an emperor had arrived, suppressing everything with one hand. With a puff, Long Xiang was sent flying by Jun Xiaoyao. His chest and ribs cracked. Fortunately, Long Xiang was a corpse dragon and had a strong physical body. Otherwise, he would have been killed in an instant like the 8-armed spider demon tribe's prodigy. Seeing that even Long Xiang was severely injured by a single move, the crowd gasped in astonishment. Everyone widened their eyes in disbelief. Long Xiang was much stronger than the fallen feather saint. "Don't be so arrogant." The Blood Fiend tribe's king shouted and attacked. It was said that the Blood Fiend tribe was formed from a drop of demonic blood. They had a mysterious and terrifying origin. The prodigy of the Blood Fiend race raised his hand, and a monstrous sea of blood appeared. That was the Blood Fiend race's innate ability, Burial of Blood Sea. Upon seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao's body surged with boundless divine flames. With a raise of his hand, colorful flames surged out. It was the Tu-Shi Ancient Emperor Flame. Jun Xiaoyao had used the fire seed of the Tu-Shi Ancient Emperor Flame to undergo nirvana, so he could naturally control the Tu-Shi Ancient Emperor Flame as he wished. That's Emperor Flame. The expression of the Blood Fiend race prodigy changed drastically. For their race, the energy they were most afraid of was lightning, fire, and other extremely strong energy. In the eternal burial ground, almost all living beings were of the cold attribute. There were almost no living beings who could control lightning and fire. It was also because of this that the Blood Fiend race was able to dominate a region in the eternal burial ground. But now, Jun Xiaoyao's Emperor Flame was the bane of the Blood Fiend tribe. Qi, the Tu-Shi Ancient Emperor Flame, collided with the sea of blood, causing white smoke to rise. This terrifying sea of blood was no threat to Jun Xiaoyao at all. Jun Xiaoyao used his fingers as a sword and slashed out with the immortal slaying sword art. The Blood Fiend race prodigy hurriedly dodged, but was still hit by the immortal slaying sword art. One of his arms was sent flying. The Blood Fiend race prodigy also retreated in defeat. The third 10 Minor Kings prodigy to challenge Jun Xiaoyao lost again. Is this the standard of the 10 Minor Kings of the burial ground? How disappointing. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. He did not want to show such a crushing stance because it was very boring. Unfortunately, no one could make him use a few more moves. To Jun Xiaoyao, this was not even considered a warm-up. The living beings of the burial ground who were participating in the banquet looked extremely humiliated. The 10 Minor Kings in their hearts were actually being looked down upon by an outsider prodigy. It was a complete disgrace. The 10 Minor Kings present all had extremely cold expressions on their faces. Long Huan was the only one who didn't get mad at what Jun Xiaoyao said. Women had always worshipped the strong. The more Jun Xiaoyao displayed his invincible spirit, the more Lang Huan was infatuated with him. It was to the extent that when she looked at Mo Ling and the other living beings, her beautiful eyes were filled with undisguised disgust. She was ashamed to be in the same group as Mo Ling and the rest. She did not even want to be called one of the 10 Minor Kings with them. When Mo Ling saw the look in Lang Huan's eyes, he immediately exploded. He could not help but attack. Seeing that Mo Ling had made his move, the corpse refining sect Sky Prides also shouted coldly, "Everyone, don't hesitate. Attack immediately and suppress him first." The corpse refining sect prodigy also attacked. After Mo Ling and the corpse refining sect prodigy attacked, the rest of the 10 Minor Kings also attacked. They could not care less about their reputation now. Suppressing Jun Xiaoyao was the most important thing. Even if they took turns to fight one by one, they would not be able to defeat Jun Xiaoyao. The only thing they could rely on now was their advantage in numbers. Although they would be criticized by others, it was still better than being humiliated by Jun Xiaoyao. One of the misconceptions of the week is to think that they can win by staying together. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were filled with condescension as he looked at the 10 minor kings charging at him. If there were hundreds or thousands of geniuses at the level of the 10 minor kings, they might actually be able to cause some trouble for Jun Xiaoyao. However, if the few of them attacked together, Jun Xiaoyao would not make any difference. Sky-devouring fiendish python, Mo Ling used the superpower of his tribe. Behind him, black fog spread out and a semi-illusory shadow of the sky-devouring fiendish python appeared. When it opened its mouth, it seemed to be able to swallow the sky. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and resisted with the god-devouring fiendish skill. Many black devouring vortexes appeared. The devouring and refining ability was not weaker than Mo Ling's superpower. At the same time, the genius of the corpse refining sect also attacked. The coffin beside him opened, and an ancient corpse covered in black hair appeared. The ancient corpse exuded a sense of toughness. Its physical body alone was comparable to an empty god realm expert. This was also the reason why the genius of the corpse refining sect could be ranked among the 10 minor kings. His cultivation was at the initial completion divine fire realm and was not outstanding. However, with the help of the ancient corpse, he could defeat most of the geniuses. The ancient corpse stretched out its hands. Its 10 fingernails were as sharp as black thorns. They pierced through the void and attacked Jun Xiaoyao. The rest of the geniuses of the 10 minor kings also attacked. All kinds of powerful techniques were used. Such a scene shocked everyone present. The 10 minor kings were high and mighty. Each of them could defeat an opponent. No one had ever seen the 10 minor kings joining forces to attack one person. This was simply unheard of. Even if the genius of the Jun family loses, it's not an injustice. A creature of the burial ground sighed. That's right. Even if he is defeated, his name will spread far and wide. After all, several of the 10 minor kings joined forces to defeat him. Everyone present felt that even if Jun Xiaoyao was defeated, it would be a glorious defeat. However, what happened next was beyond everyone's expectations. It could be said that it had overturned their understanding. Chapter 345. Jun Xiaoyao performed the god-engulfing demonic technique and forcefully dispelled Mo Ling's innate ability. Then, he went on to counterattack. Mo Ling's body trembled as he hurriedly retreated, afraid that he would be sucked into the devouring vortex. Even if he did not die, he would be severely injured. Then, the corpse refining sect prodigy summoned an ancient corpse and charged at him. Jun Xiaoyao clenched his fist. Not only did he activate the divine elephant overpowering force, but he also activated the sacred body of the ancients. Then, he activated the power of the immortal bone of the great all-embracing heaven on his arm. In an instant, his chi and blood surged and immortal light shone. He threw a punch, causing the void to tremble and ripple. Bang! Jun Xiaoyao's punch was so powerful that it tore the ancient corpse into pieces right away. Jun Xiaoyao opened his fingers and grabbed at the void. The divine light gathered into the heavenly god spear, which pierced towards the corpse refining sex prodigy. The corpse refining sex prodigy was so shocked that his soul almost left his body. He did not expect that his ancient corpse, which was comparable to an empty god's body, would be shattered by Jun Xiaoyao's punch. It was all his blood, sweat, and tears over the years, and it went down the drain just like that. The corpse refining sex prodigy hurriedly turned around to block, but he could not block the heavenly god spear. It pierced through his chest and nailed him to the mountain. Then, Jun Xiaoyao attacked with his fists and palms. It was as if he wanted to destroy the void for thousands of miles. The Rakshasa's prodigy, who was at the level of the 10 minor kings, was torn apart by Jun Xiaoyao. The Dead Spirit Tribe's prodigy was good at the Tao of Souls. However, Jun Xiaoyao used the primordial spirit of 3 lives to activate the chaotic divine grindstone and crush his dead spirit primordial spirit into nothingness. The terrifying dead spirit primordial spirit was as weak as a piece of paper in front of Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit of 3 lives. It could not resist at all. The 10 minor kings were either severely injured or dead. The entire soul-burying mountain fell into a dead silence. This result completely overturned their understanding of a world. 10 minor kings joined forces, but they were still no match for Jun Xiaoyao. Instead, a few of them were killed. Just how strong is this son of God of the Jun family? Is he the #1 expert of the younger generation in the outside world? Many burial earth creatures muttered to themselves in a daze. They were finding excuses to comfort themselves. Otherwise, they would not be able to accept this result. If any random heaven's favorite from the outside world could defeat the 10 young kings, then the gap between the burial ground and the immortals area was far too big. Long Xiang, Mo Ling, and the rest were fearful and their faces were ugly. However, they did not dare to say anything impudent. The 9 Serenities AO didn't even make a move. Its eyes were extremely serious. It wasn't a true 9 Serenities AO. It only possessed a trace of the 9 Serenities AO's bloodline. He's really too powerful. Lang Huan could not help but exclaim in her heart. Although she had already fought Jun Xiaoyao, it was more of a test than anything else. Jun Xiaoyao had yet to truly show what he was capable of. Now, the strength that Jun Xiaoyao displayed was enough to shock the entire burial earth. However, looking at Jun Xiaoyao's calm expression, Lang Huan suddenly thought of something. Could it be that Jun Xiaoyao was still not using his full strength? Thinking of this, Lang Huan could not help but tremble slightly. If that was the case, then it would be too terrifying. Son of God of the Jun family, what is your strength? Long Xiang asked coldly. He wanted to know what level Jun Xiaoyao was at in the immortals area. If all the heaven's favorites in the immortals area were as monstrous as Jun Xiaoyao, then it would be a fatal blow to them. Jun Xiaoyao looked around when he heard that. All of the creatures in the burial ground looked away when their eyes met his. Then, Jun Xiaoyao opened his mouth and said 4 simple words. I am invincible. As soon as he said those 4 words, an indescribable pressure poured out in all directions. The sky prides of the 10 minor kings felt like they were about to suffocate. Those 4 simple words were full of arrogance. However, at this moment, no one refuted or ridiculed him, because the reality was right in front of them. Jun Xiaoyao was indeed invincible. The atmosphere in the Burial Soul Mountain was extremely tense. It was obvious that this year's 10 Kings banquet belonged to Jun Xiaoyao alone. The 10 minor kings' brilliance was dim in front of him. No wonder the princess likes him. Looking at the handsome young man standing in the middle of the sky with a calm expression, Qin Xian'er muttered to herself, a real man should be like this. Just as everyone was feeling depressed, someone suddenly said, by the way, where's the leader of the 10 minor kings, the ancient mighty body of the Nether King Palace? That's right. Why isn't Chu Tianba of the Nether King Palace here? If he is here, he might not be able to show off. Chu Tianba is the legendary mighty body of the heavens. Even if it's incomplete, it's not something that anyone can compete with. At the mention of Chu Tianba, the creatures of the burial earth, who were looking dejected just now, immediately perked up. The strongest of the 10 minor kings had yet to fight with Jun Xiaoyao. Perhaps Chu Tianba could redeem the reputation of the eternal burial earth. When Chu Tianba first appeared, he climbed out of the endless abyss alone. His domineering aura shook the entire Tianming realm. I heard that Chu Tianba will go directly to the crack of the burial earth. Indeed, as the leader of the 10 minor kings, he doesn't need to participate in the 10 kings banquet. He can directly obtain the qualification to enter the burial earth. It's a pity that we won't be able to see Chu Tianba fight the son of God of the Jun family today. Some of the creatures of the burial earth shook their heads and felt that it was a pity. This was because Jun Xiaoyao had never used the sacred body vision in the burial earth, nor did he deliberately use the power of the sacred body of the ancients. Therefore, the creatures of the burial earth didn't know that Jun Xiaoyao had the sacred body of the ancients. If they knew, they wouldn't have been so confident in Chu Tianba. There was no difference between the sacred body of the ancients and the mighty body of the heavens. In the past battles, both sides had won and lost, but no one could truly crush the other. That incomplete mighty body of the ancients, Chu Tianba. Hearing the discussions around him, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with a dark light. He naturally knew about the 10 minor kings, and he also had some understanding of Chu Tianba. To be honest, Jun Xiaoyao was quite interested in the mighty body of the heavens. This kind of body was one of the few that could compete with the sacred body of the ancients. Moreover, the two seemed to be mortal enemies. They seemed to be destined rivals. Chu Tianba, I hope you don't disappoint me, Jun Xiaoyao murmured. The 10 kings banquet ended with such an ending. As for the 10 minor kings, they were no longer in the mood to fight among themselves. They couldn't beat Jun Xiaoyao even if they worked together, so infighting would only make them look more foolish. The forces behind the 10 minor kings didn't want Jun Xiaoyao to enter the burial earth. Some of the powerhouses' eyes flickered, and they were already secretly planning their future plans. In short, they had to stop Jun Xiaoyao from entering the burial earth. Chapter 346. Without a doubt, the news of the 10 Kings banquet spread throughout the entire eternal graveyard. This time, the entire eternal graveyard seemed to be about to explode. When all the living beings of the graveyard heard this news for the first time, their first reaction was, "Are you King kidding me?" Then, after understanding the real situation, they were tongue-tied in disbelief. One of the 10 little king-level prodigies was enough to sweep through a region. They were the top of a region. But now, even if the kings joined forces, they couldn't hurt Jun Xiaoyao at all. Some of them were even killed. To the living beings of the graveyard, this was no different from a bolt from the blue. However, after learning that Jun Xiaoyao was also an invincible prodigy in the outside world, their mood calmed down a little. If the prodigies of the outside world were all as monstrous as Jun Xiaoyao, then these living beings of the graveyard would be even more affected. After the 10 Kings banquet ended, Jun Xiaoyao still stayed with Lang Huan. In a few days, they would head to the graveyard rift together. Jun Xiaoyao could also complete the sign-in mission. In the luxurious room of the ship, Jun Xiaoyao casually leaned against the edge of the bed. Qin Xian'er and Lang Huan were massaging Jun Xiaoyao's shoulders. The two girls' soft hands were massaging Jun Xiaoyao's shoulders rhythmically. It was very comfortable. If it was before, although Lang Huan liked Jun Xiaoyao, she would definitely not do such a thing as a maid. But at the 10 Kings banquet, after witnessing Jun Xiaoyao's domineering strength, her heart completely melted. Originally, her personality was very domineering, and she wanted to ride on Jun Xiaoyao. But now, she was always fantasizing about being ridden by Jun Xiaoyao. The fiercer the better. It would be best if he could break her. Lang wanted to know why her mentality had changed so drastically. Perhaps it was because the men she had met in the past were all servile to her, no different from dogs. And Jun Xiaoyao was the first person to be so domineering in front of her. In Lang Huan's heart, a strange hobby was awakened. Young Master Jun, do you think they will let you enter the burial realm safely? Lang Huan asked as she massaged Jun Xiaoyao's shoulders. She had already begun to think about Jun Xiaoyao. It doesn't matter. If they want to stop us, I'll let them know what despair is, Jun Xiaoyao said. He knew that he had killed the prodigies of the 8-armed spider demons and the blood fiend tribe. They would not let him off easily, let alone allowing Jun Xiaoyao to enter the burial realm. There was even a possibility that they wanted to kill Jun Xiaoyao. But Jun Xiaoyao didn't care. Jun Xiaoyao would make them understand the meaning of regret if they dared to make a move. Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's cold and domineering words, Lang Huan's heart melted. Water flowed out of the peach blossom spring. Well, he was just describing the scenery. There was absolutely no other meaning behind it. You're wet. Jun Xiaoyao looked down. Yes. Lang Huan's voice was as soft as a mosquito's. Her delicate face was dyed pink. Then hurry up and get down. Don't want my bed. Jun Xiaoyao swung his hand and pushed Lang Huan away. Lang Huan. This F***er is a straight man of steel. Even a beautiful woman like Lang Huan couldn't help but want to curse. He was clearly a handsome little puppy on the outside, but he had the heart of a straight man of steel. Beside her, Qin Xian'er couldn't help but burst out laughing. She realized that she didn't hate Jun Xiaoyao as much as she did at the beginning. This handsome young master was usually ruthless and didn't say much, but sometimes he was quite interesting and cute. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was leisurely waiting to enter the burial realm, the other kings, such as Long Xiang, Mo Ling, Jiu Ao, and the other prodigies of the burial realm, were thinking of ways to improve their strength. At the same time, they were thinking about how to stop Jun Xiaoyao from entering. The eight-armed spider demons, the Blood Evil tribe, and other powerful forces had reached a consensus that they absolutely couldn't let a foreign prodigy enter the burial realm. Even if such a rule didn't exist before, they had to create such a rule. On the other side, on a lonely peak in the Hall of Pluto, Chu Tianba was sitting cross-legged. The reason why he didn't attend the banquet wasn't because of himself, but because someone had stopped him. In the void in front of him, there was a semi-illusory projection. But even if it was just a projection, it had a terrifying power that could crush all the worlds. This blurry projection was the Lord of the Hall of Pluto, the Tianming Burial Emperor. As for Chu Tianba, as the ancient overlord body and the strongest prodigy of the Hall of Pluto, he was also the disciple of the Tianming Burial Emperor. Master, why don't you let me go and compete with the sacred body of the ancients? Chu Tianba was reluctant. He originally wanted to compete with Jun Xiaoyao at the Feast of the Ten Kings. But his master, the Tianming Burial Emperor, had stopped him. That son of God of the Jun family is something you may not know, but in the Huangtian mystic realm, he is the most famous person of the younger generation. Even the ancient freaks were defeated by him. The Tianming Burial Emperor said, Master, do you think that my overlord body is inferior to the sacred body of the son of God of the Jun family? Chu Tianba gritted his teeth. In the past, every overlord body of the firmament had a domineering personality. So, Chu Tianba couldn't stand being suppressed by Jun Xiaoyao. Now, there were rumors in the Tianming realm that Chu Tianba didn't dare to attend the banquet because he was afraid of the son of God of the Jun family. This was unacceptable to Chu Tianba. Of course I believe in you. If you had a complete overlord body, you would be able to compete with the Jun family's prodigy. But now, you are incomplete. The only way is to enter the burial realm and find the reincarnation pool of living beings. This great opportunity is enough for your tyrant body to recover and even baptize and sublimate. When the time comes, it will be easy for you to suppress the sacred body of the Jun family. Hearing the Tianming Burial Emperor's words, Chu Tianba was relieved. It turned out that the Tianming Burial Emperor had already thought of a way for him. Thank you for your consideration, Master. But if the Jun family's prodigy also enters the burial realm, then... Chu Tianba stopped. He thought that Jun Xiaoyao might stop him from obtaining the opportunity. After all, the two bodies were natural enemies. Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't be stupid enough to let him recover his overlord body. The Tianming Burial Emperor said faintly, Don't worry. Killing the Jun family's prodigy might bring about some karma. But if you stop him from entering the burial realm, it won't be difficult. The Palace of Hades will take care of this. After hearing the Tianming Burial Emperor's words, Chu Tianba was finally completely relieved. The sacred body of the Jun family. Wait until my overlord body is completely restored. What will you use to fight me? In this life, I will be the overlord body of the firmament. Chu Tianba's ambition was as clear as day. He wanted to use the name of the overlord body of the firmament to completely crush the sacred body of the ancients. Just as the entire 10 regions of the eternal burial earth were in turmoil because of the burial realm. In a dark palace in the Senluo region, a beautiful figure in a long black dress was sitting on a white bone throne. Among the 10 lords of the 10 regions of the eternal burial earth, there was a legendary existence. The creatures of the eternal burial earth called her the Ghost-Masked Burial Emperor. Chapter 347. As everyone knew, the 10 regions of the eternal burial earth, each region had a region lord. For example, the Dark Nether region was the fallen winged race's burial emperor. The Azura region was the Azura Demon Kingdom's ruler, and the Heavenly Nether region was the Dark Nether Palace's Dark Nether Burial Emperor. However, within these 10 regions, there was one that was extremely special. That was the Sunluo region. The other few region lords were all Undying Powers rulers. As for the Sunluo region's region lord, she was a loner, without any power. The most important thing was the Sunluo region's region lord was a woman. No one knew her real name, and she had never shown her face to anyone. This was because she always wore a ghost face mask on her face. Hence, the living beings of the 10 regions all called her ghost masked female burial emperor. However, the most praiseworthy thing about the ghost masked female burial emperor was her strength. A long time ago, the ghost masked female burial emperor was already the ruler of the Sunluo region, and no one was able to threaten her position. There were also other burial emperors who wanted to challenge the ghost masked female burial emperor, but they all died tragically. Hence, there were people who ranked the 10 region lords, and the ghost masked female burial emperor was without a doubt holding the first position. Even the Dark Nether Palace's Dark Nether Burial Emperor could only be ranked second. From this, it could be seen that the ghost masked female burial emperor had a high status and prestige in the eternal burial earth. At this moment, in a dark palace in the Sunluo region, on the white bone throne, the ghost masked female burial emperor sat on it. She wore a black dress, wrapped around her slender and proud jade body. Her skin was like snow, sparkling with light. Her hair was casually draped over her shoulders, giving the female burial emperor a mysterious and lazy charm. Although she wore a ghost face mask on her face, but just from her figure, she was definitely a peerless beauty, a beauty that could cause the downfall of a city. In the Eternal Burial Earth's beauty rankings by some nosy people, the ghost masked female burial emperor was the only one who didn't show her face, and just her aura alone was enough to mesmerize everyone. Even the world's most beautiful Lang Huan could only be ranked second after the ghost masked female burial emperor. At this moment, the ghost masked female burial emperor's jade fingers tapped on the throne's armrest. Her emotions seemed to have fallen into a faint fluctuation. This was unbelievable to the ghost masked female burial emperor. Ever since she had awakened her consciousness, she had always been alone. She had never felt lonely. She had always been a high and mighty female burial emperor who looked down on all living things coldly. Only occasionally, in some fragmented memories, would some scenes flashed past like a merry-go-round. For example, the back of a white-robed youth would appear, holding the hand of a little girl. The little girl was holding a grimace mask that looked like it was laughing and crying at the same time. Whose karma is this? Is it mine? The ghost masked female burial emperor muttered to herself. Her voice was soft and gentle with a hint of hoarseness, full of magnetism. Why do I feel so uneasy during this period of time? Is something about to happen? The ghost masked female burial emperor was slightly absent-minded. She slowly raised her jade-like hand, holding a sachet in her palm. If Jun Xiaoyao was here, he would definitely be surprised. The sachet in the hands of the ghost-masked female burial emperor was exactly the same as the one he had obtained in the lower realm. And that sachet came from a ghost-masked female burial emperor on the martyr's altar. The red spider lily blooms in the 7-colored sky, and the flower falls to become an immortal for 1,000 years. Has my karma arrived? If so, then the only person is the Jun family's Heaven's Pride who has stirred up endless storms recently. The ghost-masked female burial emperor's gaze was faint under the mask. She naturally knew that Jun Xiaoyao had stirred up a storm in the 10 regions of eternal burial earth. It seems that I have to go personally. The ghost-masked female burial emperor murmured. The entire palace of darkness fell into silence. A few days passed. The day of entering the burial earth also arrived. Many burial earth creatures set off, preparing to head to the edge of the burial earth. Even if they did not have the qualifications to enter, it was still good to join in the fun. Jun Xiaoyao and the others also set off. With Lang Huan arranging the itinerary, Jun Xiaoyao did not have to worry about anything. He only needed to wait quietly. The burial earth was the core of the 10 regions of burial earth. It was at the extreme north of the Tianming territory, bordering the burial earth. That was where the crack was located. It was a dangerous place filled with the aura of death. The ground was crimson. It was not naturally formed. Instead, it was as if it had been dyed red by blood after a great battle. The skeletons of various unknown creatures were scattered all over. It could be said that ordinary burial earth creatures would not dare to come to the burial earth if they did not have enough courage and confidence. More than 10 years ago, after the burial earth was sealed, this place was even more deserted. But today, this area, which was originally dead and desolate, was extremely lively. Many forces of the burial earth gathered together. In the sky, all kinds of bone dragons and skeleton birds pulled carriages. On the ground, there were also many burial earth creatures rushing over, densely packed like a colony of ants. They came here not only to see the fun in the burial earth. There was a more important reason, which was the battle between Jun Xiaoyao and the ancient overlord body of the Nether King Palace. This battle was very eye-catching. To some extent, this represented the battle between the strongest heaven's pride of the Huangtian mystic realm and the strongest heaven's pride of the 10 regions of eternal burial earth. It was naturally eye-catching. Rumble. In the sky, all kinds of sounds came. It was the arrival of the kings. Long Xiang of the Corpse Dragon clan, Mo Ling of the sky-devouring demonic python clan, the 9 Serenities AO, the Blood Fiend tribe, and other creatures had all come. Their auras were much stronger than before. Obviously, in this short period of time, they had all received some kind of strengthening. Especially the 9 Serenities AO, it did not make a move at the 10 Kings banquet, so no one could detect its background. In addition, those forces whose heaven's prides were killed by Jun Xiaoyao, such as the 8-armed Spider Demon clan and the Corpse Refining sect, had also come. Their purpose was naturally to prevent Jun Xiaoyao from entering the burial earth with all their strength. At this moment, the earth suddenly shook, and a pitch-black giant crossed the mountain ridge. It's the giant demonic puppet of the Nether King Palace. The Nether King Palace is finally here. When they saw the pitch-black giant, there was an uproar. The Nether King Palace was one of the strongest forces in the eternal burial earth, and its leader, the Tianming Burial Emperor, was also a top powerhouse of the burial earth. At this moment, a group of people stood on the giant demonic puppet. The leader stood on top of the giant demonic puppet's head. It was a well-built man with bronze-colored muscles that were covered in cracks. His black hair was scattered and fluttered in the wind. His face was rough, and the scene of stars falling from the sky appeared in his eyes. His entire person carried an arrogant and domineering aura, showing off his sharpness. This well-built young man's aura was very shocking, and he had an invincible aura that could sweep through everything. Who else could it be but Chu Tianba? He's finally here, the leader of the 10 minor kings, the ancient overlord body, Chu Tianba. Seeing Chu Tianba's arrival, all of the burial earth creatures were excited. There is no other reason than that Chu Tianba was the heaven's pride who had the highest chance of defeating Jun Xiaoyao and reclaiming the burial earth's reputation. Where is the Jun family's sacred body? Chu Tianba's eyes looked around, and his gaze was sharp and disdainful. Seeing Chu Tianba's domineering aura, all of the burial earth creatures present were so excited that their hearts trembled. The ancient overlord body was forever a god, just as all of the burial earth creatures were in a state of ecstasy. A cold voice with a hint of playfulness suddenly resounded. You're just a mere crippled body, and you're in such a hurry to die. As the voice rang out, a luxurious ship came through the air from afar. A figure that looked like a white-robed immortal stepped on the sky. Sacred body, overlord body, fated enemies. They finally met. Chapter 348. Jun Xiaoyao, the sacred body of the ancients. Chu Tianba, the tyrant body of the heavens. One of them was the son of God of the Jun family, the invincible son of God of the Huangtian mystic realm. The other was the top genius of the 10 minor kings of the 10 domains of the ancient burial ground. The meeting of the two stirred up a storm and attracted the attention of countless people. Many of the people present froze when they heard Chu Tianba mention the sacred body of the Jun family. I didn't hear wrong. Chu Tianba said the sacred body of the Jun family. The son of God of the Jun family has the legendary sacred body of the ancients. Yes, that should be it. No wonder the Jun family son of God body is so strong that even the corpse dragon clan can't beat it. It turns out that he has the unparalleled sacred body of the ancients. But didn't the sacred body of the ancients become useless? How can the Jun family son of God still be so strong? Who knows? Monsters can't be measured by common sense. After learning that Jun Xiaoyao had the sacred body of the ancients, it caused an uproar. Before this, almost no one knew that Jun Xiaoyao had the sacred body of the ancients. After all, the ancient burial ground and the mystic realm were very isolated. Only top forces like the Hall of Hades could find out about the outside world. Ordinary creatures of the burial ground didn't know what happened in the mystic realm. However, after knowing, the creatures of the burial ground became even more excited. This was a battle between a sacred body and a tyrant body that was rarely seen in 10,000 years. Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's contemptuous words, Chu Tianba also said coldly, "Crippled body. Why do you have to say such things when you're called a useless body of the ancients?" Chu Tianba's words were not without reason. It was a well-known fact that the sacred body of the ancients and the tyrant body of the heavens had been enemies since ancient times. In historical records, both sides had won and lost. However, as the ancient era came, 10 shackles fell from the sky and limited the growth of the sacred body of the ancients. Gradually, the tyrant body felt like it was going to suppress the sacred body. This was also the reason why Chu Tianba was so confident. In the ancient times, the sacred body of the ancients was naturally inferior to the hegemonic body of the heavens. It was difficult for the sacred body of the ancients to grow, let alone cultivate it to full completion. Hearing Chu Tianba's words, everyone present faintly agreed. Even Lang Huan, Qin Xianer, and the others who stood on Jun Xiaoyao's side had to admit that the sacred body of the ancients was indeed known as a useless body. However, Jun Xiaoyao wanted to laugh when he heard this. How shallow was Chu Tianba's vision? He didn't know that Jun Xiaoyao had already broken 10 shackles since birth. If all went well, Jun Xiaoyao would definitely be able to attain an accomplished sacred body of the ancients in the future. This was almost a done deal. At that time, even the overlord body would be suppressed by him. A frog in a well can't talk about the sea, and a summer insect can't talk about the ice. What else can I say to a short-sighted person like you? Just be obedient, lie back in your coffin, and don't crawl out. Jun Xiaoyao's casual words made Chu Tianba's aura surge. He was like an angry lion. The tyrant body of the firmament had a domineering personality. How could he tolerate this kind of provocation? Especially Jun Xiaoyao. Although he usually didn't talk much, when he spoke, it was enough to anger people to death. Previously, many geniuses had already experienced Jun Xiaoyao's viciousness. You're courting death. Chu Tianba couldn't help but want to attack. Don't worry. The opportunity in the burial realm is the most important. Once your tyrant body is completely recovered, dealing with him will be a piece of cake. On the side, a powerhouse from the Hall of Pluto stopped Chu Tianba and transmitted his voice. Although the people from the Hall of Pluto were very confident in Chu Tianba, Jun Xiaoyao was indeed not to be underestimated. They naturally wouldn't make such a low-level mistake like underestimating the enemy. Hearing this, Chu Tianba was a little reluctant, but he still didn't attack. You don't dare to attack? Seeing that Chu Tianba had stopped, Jun Xiaoyao didn't hold back and directly exposed him. You, in the burial realm, I will fight with you. Chu Tianba's face was cold. It was only natural that he and Jun Xiaoyao would fight one another. Jun Xiaoyao didn't care. To be honest, Jun Xiaoyao didn't have much interest in this kind of incomplete tyrant body. Defeating him wouldn't bring him any satisfaction. All right, prepare to enter. The powerhouse from the Hall of Pluto coldly looked at Jun Xiaoyao, then said to Chu Tianba, in the depths of the void, there was a spatial crack. It was a crack in the burial realm. Other than this crack, ordinary burial realm creatures couldn't enter the sealed burial realm. Looking at the spatial crack, Jun Xiaoyao vaguely had a strange feeling. It was as if something was calling out to him. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was about to enter, the powerhouse from the Hall of Pluto, Isolese, said, "What are you doing?" Jun Xiaoyao's eyebrows rose slightly. He wasn't surprised at all. Entering the burial realm. You're just a heavenly genius from the outside world. Do you have the qualifications to enter the burial realm? That's right. Outsiders don't have the qualifications to enter the burial realm, said the eight-armed spider devil race's expert. Their race's heavenly geniuses have been killed by Jun Xiaoyao. They naturally hated Jun Xiaoyao. But when they thought of Jun Xiaoyao's background, they didn't dare attack him alone. Perhaps the eight-armed spider devil race would be exterminated. That's right. I also think outsiders can't enter the burial realm. The burial realm is an opportunity for us burial realm creatures, said the corpse refining sex expert. The other major powers of the burial ground also objected to it. Other than the Azura Devil Nation, there wasn't a single power that stood on Jun Xiaoyao's side. It could be seen that these burial realm creatures were still very disgusted by Jun Xiaoyao's actions in the burial realm. I don't think you had such a rule before. In the face of unanimous opposition, Jun Xiaoyao was still calm. He didn't show the slightest trace of anger. We didn't before, but now we do, said the heaven-devouring devil python race's expert. Mo Ling crossed her arms in front of her chest and sneered at Jun Xiaoyao. Who asked you to be arrogant? Now you're powerless. Indeed, because of Jun Xiaoyao's background, they didn't dare attack Jun Xiaoyao. But if they just wanted to stop him from entering the burial realm, it couldn't be any simpler. Long Xiang, Mo Ling, the Nine Nether AO, and the other heavenly geniuses were all watching coldly from the sidelines. If they could stop Jun Xiaoyao from entering the burial realm, it would be beneficial to them. I've seen shameless people, but I've never seen people as shameless as you. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head. It was one thing for them to be sore losers, but they were even acting shamelessly. The living beings of the eternal burial realm were nothing more than this. I admit that your background is shocking, but this is the burial realm. We should abide by the rules of the burial realm, said the Nether King Palace's expert expressionlessly. They obeyed the Sky Nether Burial Emperor's order to stop Jun Xiaoyao from entering the burial realm. A cold light flashed in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. The Nine Wonders reincarnation immortal grass might be in the burial realm. Jun Xiaoyao must enter the burial realm. The world is vast, but no one dares to stop this son of God. Can you bear the price? Jun Xiaoyao waved his sleeves, his tone cold. For a moment, his aura made the burial realm's experts feel suffocated. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was about to use his ultimate move, the void suddenly shattered. Space suddenly shattered as a slender, jade-like hand broke through space and slammed towards the expert from the Nether King Hall. The Nether King Palace's expert didn't even have time to react. He didn't even have time to scream before he was smashed into a bloody pulp. The atmosphere instantly froze. Everyone was stunned. Chapter 349. This sudden scene was out of everyone's expectations. All of the burial earth beings present felt their brains short-circuit, and they couldn't react in time. The expert from the Nether King Palace, who was high and mighty a moment ago, was smashed into a bloody pulp. However, what shocked everyone wasn't the death of the expert from the Nether King Palace. It was the person who attacked. A peerless figure slowly stepped out from the broken space. A black dress fluttered in the wind and wrapped around Linglong's proud figure. Her hair fluttered in the wind, and her skin was as smooth as snow. She looked like a beauty carved out of cold jade. She wore a ghost mask on her face, and no one could see her face. The person who attacked was the domain lord of the Sunluo region, the ghost-masked female, Burial Emperor. Her aura was extremely terrifying and brought with it a supreme pressure that caused the surrounding space to tremble. Although she wore a ghost mask on her face, her eyes seemed to contain the terrifying scene of the sun being destroyed and the stars sinking. Her aura was extremely shocking. It's the domain lord of the Sunluo region. Why did the ghost-masked female Burial Emperor appear? The appearance of the ghost-masked female Burial Emperor caused an uproar, and exclamations of shock could be heard everywhere. This was because everyone was too shocked. The ghost masked female burial emperor was extremely mysterious and cold in the hearts of the burial earth beings. Although all of the burial earth beings had heard of the ghost masked female burial emperor, very few of them had actually seen her. Furthermore, the ghost masked female burial emperor did not say that she belonged to her own faction, so the chances of her entering the world were even lower. 99% of the beings present were seeing the ghost masked female burial emperor for the first time. As for why they could recognize her at a glance, it was naturally because of the ghost mask. In the burial earth, no one dared to wear the same mask. This was because there was once a genius who wore a similar mask, and his entire clan was killed by the ghost masked female burial emperor. Since then, no one dared to wear the same mask. Heavens, the ghost masked female burial emperor actually appeared. Why is this happening? The most important thing is that she killed the expert from the Nether King Palace. Everyone present was still in deep shock. The ghost masked female burial emperor's actions were swift and decisive. Her cold gaze turned towards the 8-armed spider demon race's experts. You guys also objected just now. The female burial emperor's frosty voice caused the 8-armed spider devil clan's powerhouses to feel as though they had fallen into an ice cave. Even if it was a holy lord level powerhouse, in front of the ghost masked female burial emperor, they were as small and insignificant as ants. No. Without waiting for the 8-armed spider demon clan's expert to explain, the ghost masked female burial emperor had already pointed out a finger. The terrifying beam of death pierced through the void, and a large black hole appeared on the heads of a group of 8-armed spider demon clan experts. Corpses fell from the sky one after another. And you guys, the ghost masked female burial emperor's gaze once again turned to the Rakshasa clan, undead spirit clan, and the others. The reason being that the geniuses of these tribes had all been killed by Jun Xiaoyao at the Ten Emperors Feast. Naturally, they hated Jun Xiaoyao even more. The experts of the two races were so shocked that their souls almost left their bodies. They retreated quickly and shouted at the same time, "Ghost masked female burial emperor, as the burial earth's emperor, why are you helping an outsider?" The angry shouts of the experts of the two races did not stop the ghost masked female burial emperor from killing. She attacked once again. As her jade-like palm struck out, the galaxy overturned, heaven and earth turned upside down, and the void boiled. Various kinds of death aura and the law of death intertwined. In the void, blood-red spider lilies bloomed one after another. Those were the lives of the powerhouses withering away. The entire place was dead silent. Seeing this scene, all the living beings of the burial earth could not make a sound. Although death was not a taboo in the eternal burial earth, it was still very shocking to see such a massacre with their own eyes. Is this the strength of the ghost masked female burial emperor? One of the living beings of the burial earth muttered to himself. Not only the holy lords, but even a few quasi-supreme powerhouses could not withstand a single blow from the ghost masked female burial emperor. Of course, what shocked everyone most was not the strength of the ghost masked female burial emperor. Instead, why did she help Jun Xiaoyao? Oh my god, don't tell me that even the ghost masked female burial emperor was conquered by the appearance of the Jun family's genius. Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. What kind of existence is the ghost masked female burial emperor? How could she be so superficial? Then tell me, why would the ghost masked female burial emperor help the Jun family's genius? This, I can't figure out. I can't figure it out at all. The surrounding people could not help but whisper to each other. It was because they could not understand the ghost masked female burial emperor's actions. Think about it. A female powerhouse that had only been heard of in legends suddenly appeared and killed a living being of the same realm for an outsider's genius. This did not make sense. Could it be that she was really conquered by the appearance of the Jun family's genius? Some people could not help but think this way, because other than this reason, they could not think of any other reason. Comparing strength, although Jun Xiaoyao was a monster of the younger generation, it was impossible for an expert like the ghost masked female burial emperor to put him in her eyes. The only thing that could be praised was his appearance. Oh my God, it can't be. Even the ghost masked female burial emperor is going to fall in the hands of this outsider kid. The female burial emperor is ranked first on the burial Earth's beauty list. Even Princess Lang Huan is only ranked second. Are the first and second beauties of the burial Earth going to be ruined by this kid? Envy, jealousy, hatred. Many of the male geniuses present had bloodshot eyes. They were so jealous that they were about to go crazy. Not only did the world's most beautiful Princess Lang Huan crazily throw herself at Jun Xiaoyao. Even the mysterious and aloof burial Earth's legend, the ghost masked female burial emperor, had actually taken action to protect Jun Xiaoyao. Lemon essence. Today, all the male creatures of the burial Earth have become lemon essences. It can't be. The female burial emperor is also going to snatch the little puppy from his princess, right? Even Lang Huan was shocked. In an instant, a strong sense of vigilance and danger rose in her heart. A woman like the ghost masked female burial emperor was actually the most attractive to a young man like Jun Xiaoyao. After all, who wouldn't want to say, "Auntie, I don't want to work hard anymore"? With the ghost masked female burial emperor supporting him, Jun Xiaoyao could almost do whatever he wanted in the eternal burial Earth. It would be a waste not to eat this soft rice. Therefore, in Lang Huan's heart, she felt a sense of crisis. It was too difficult to fight against a man like the ghost masked female burial emperor. Such a mysterious and domineering empress was most likely the most attractive to young men. Everyone present had probably misunderstood. They thought that the reason why the ghost masked female burial emperor made a move was because she had a different attitude towards Jun Xiaoyao. Only Jun Xiaoyao himself, after seeing the ghost mask on the female burial emperor's face, understood a little. It's this ghost mask again. It's the third time, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. The first time, it was on the 49th floor of the Holy Spirit College's Heavenly Dao Tower. The ghost mask girl had appeared and kept calling him Big Brother. The second time, it was on the lower realm's heroic spirit altar, where the ghost masked woman's figure appeared, protecting Jun Xiaoyao and opening the way. And now it was the third time. Different from the previous two times, what appeared this time was not an illusory imprint, but a real woman. What exactly was this ghost mask? Was the woman who appeared 3 times the same person? What did it have to do with Jun Xiaoyao? Jun Xiaoyao fell into deep thought.